Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tardis Zone Talks. I hope you are all well. I know most of you will want to talk about Gina Carano, but I'm not talking about Gina Carano on this channel. I refuse to talk about the situation. I spoke about it on the Irish Geek, so I want to stay away from that. Yeah, won't be talking about Gina on the channel. So if you've come here thinking that I'm going to be talking about it, unfortunately, I won't be. I've already said my piece on it, and I won't be saying any more on it. No, Marky, no new news as of now. How are you? We got Garbage in the chat as well, Charlotte as well. PD Rich. No, I don't want to talk about Gina. To be quite honest with you, I think everybody's being a hypocrite anyway. And I don't want to get into it because, I don't want to fall out with anybody. But I think the way everybody's behaving is absolutely ridiculous. We always said that we didn't want actors and actresses to be spouting their political beliefs, right? So Gina got fired. Well, in my opinion, then Pedro and your woman from the High Republic should be fired, and it's justified because remember, we always said we don't want actors and actresses to be talking about their political stuff, but it seems to be okay now. So I don't agree with it. I think she's an idiot, to be quite honest with you. She tweeted herself out of a job, and I've no sympathy. That's how I feel about her now. So I've said my piece on it. Won't be talking about it anymore. Done. I will continue to watch The Mandalorian. I will continue to watch the other shows because, at the end of the day, the show is more than just about an actress. So, we move on. So I've said my piece on it and I won't be talking about it again. So if anybody wants to come on talk Doctor Who, you're more than welcome because that's what we do on the Tardis Zone. So if you want to come on and talk Doctor Who, more than welcome to come on and talk Doctor Who. But I won't be taking anybody that wants to talk about Gina Carano because, as I said, I am done with the whole situation. I don't really care anymore, to be quite honest with you. The show will go on. Disney will go on. So, what's the point? So let's do a few shout outs before I put the link in the chat. Remember, if you want to talk Doctor Who, you can come on and talk Doctor Who. Yeah, I'm not going to get it. I just don't want to get into it because I just see a lot of hypocrites out there. They said they're telling people to boycott the show, but yeah, they're still reviewing WandaVision. And when Mandalorian comes back, guaranteed, they will all forget about this and they'll review The Mandalorian. So this is why I'm not supporting all the crap that's going on Twitter, because to be quite honest with you, they'll all be watching Mandalorian. They'll all be supporting Disney again. And by the way, it's going to be very hard for you to boycott Disney when they own almost everything. I've seen everything that they own. it's going to be very hard. These people are not going to be watching any television at all if that's the case. So go ahead. Charlotte and Daniel's here. We've got Ben here as well. We've got Dr. J FH 1970. We've got CJ Campbell 37. We've got Marty in the house. We've got Froyley 1974. We've got Garbage in the house. We've got PD in the house. We've got Ben in the house. Problem being, we've got in the chat. And we've got the legend of the traveling TARDIS. I'll read out your super chat in just a second, pal. We've got Nicholas Horton also, but with a $5 super chat, and I'll throw it up on the screen there as we always do when we get a super chat. It says, Noel, can you give a shout out to the legend of the traveling TARDIS? Just started YouTube. Thank you. No problem. Welcome. And if you want to put the link in the chat, go ahead. You're more than welcome to do so. I'm pretty sure one of the moderators will do it. Sorry, I think this was a bad idea, sitting like this, because I'm actually putting pressure on me. Yeah, my shoulder hasn't been the best all day. Actually, yesterday I was in an awful state as well, but it kind of is. But now I've set somewhere where I think it's going to start making it worse, so I need to turn. Hold on. Right. That's what I mean. It's got 95 million paid subscribers. Disney is not going to give a crap. So, you know what I mean. And as I said, they'll all be reviewing the shows, and they'll all go out and still buy the merch. They'll still take merch off their supporters as well. If it's Star Wars merch, it's all hypocritical, right? That's why I've told you out straight. People ask me, am I cancelling Disney Plus? I've told you out straight. I'm not going to cancel Disney Plus. I'm going to continue to watch the shows that I plan to watch and plan to review. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to be hypocritical about it and then come up with the excuse, well, I found a different way to watch it, right? Boycott means a total blackout. And the fact that I don't believe that the fandom is capable of doing that and all coming together, I'm not going to support it. It's a futile... yes, you could send a message, but the Disney are not going to give a crap either way. So, they'll move on what they've been doing. And she won't be uncancelled either. I've seen videos about her being uncancelled. They're not going to uncancel her. The left is too strong. Disney is not going to go against the left. It's as simple as that, right? Because they'd face a backlash even worse than what they face now, right? The left have powerful people in very powerful places, right, and in high places too. So no, she won't be uncancelled. She's gone, and that's the end of it. And the way I feel about it is, all she had to do was keep her mouth shut. Yeah, people will argue that she's being attacked, but she just had to keep her mouth shut. And she would have had her own spin-off. Then she would have had more power. And then she could say whatever the feck she wanted, right? But you know what happened? I'll tell you what happened. The fandom menace got behind her, and I think she got a bit cocky. And that's the bottom line. I think she got a bit cocky, right? And she paid for it. I'm being honest. I honestly believe she thought she could keep going on the way she was going on. And yes, you might agree with her. No, I might agree with her. But at the end of the day, we've always said from day one, no actor or actress should be talking about their personal politics and their personal beliefs, right? They're there to act, okay? They're not there to spew their crap on social media, whether it's Pedro, whether it's Gina, whether it's your woman from the High Republic. None of them should be talking about politics. Every single one of them should be fired, right? They're there, they're paid to act, nothing else. And that's it. I'm done with the Done now. Nicholas Horton's in the chat as well. Welcome. No, that's it. I'm done. 10 minutes in. I'll just do me little 10 minutes and then that's it. I'm done. I'm just explaining. But by the way, anyway, and would you stop?
What?
Hey, Tim. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Oh, for fuck. It's doing this thing again. Give me a second. Yeah, we're back. Right, let's do this again.
Would you like me to do it?
No. Right. Links in the chat. Yeah. Right, we've got our first guest in. We'll wait until we get a couple of more to pop in. If you're going to come on, then the link is in the chat. I'm having some technical difficulties, so like bear with me now. Right, it's in the chat again. There we go. We got two. It's all right. It is Charlotte Lee. You don't have to worry. Charlotte is always on first, obviously. She always comes on first. So Daniel should be actually next. He's normally pops in after her, but I think he's taking a bit of a break. Right, if anybody else wants to come on, or it's going to be a very short show tonight. I know some of you will want to run off and watch Friday Night Tights. So, and apparently he's starting early. I think he's starting early tonight. Anyway, I'll tell you what, we'll start with Charlotte first anyway, and we'll see if anybody else wants to come on, but looks like it's another slow one. Welcome, Charlotte.
Hello. You always got me, right? It's okay.
How are you?
Good.
All right. What would you like to talk about, Charlotte?
The sort of John Bishop fallout, because I've talked about the Joe stuff. So I think those are the two most recent things, aren't they?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, it's just I don't understand some of the reaction, like, because some have pointed out, and I do think this is a valid point, that they're not like really excited because it's another modern day companion, and I do think that New Who really needs to stop doing modern day companions, because you've literally got a TARDIS. The Doctor can pick up a companion from any point in history, and it's like, oh, I'm going to keep going to 21st century Britain, and it's a bit like we really could do with a bit of shake up. So that part of the reaction I completely understand, because I've actually seen some very good videos. Not having a go at John, just talking about that aspect of it, and just sort of saying, oh, I would have liked something a bit different if we were going to have another companion. But the reaction to basically because he's male and because of the colour of his skin and because of whatever other reasons they've invented, it's ridiculous. It's like, if you actually look at the history of the show, male companions are in the minority. They're not, especially in the recent runs. If a male companion comes on, it's either because they're a boyfriend or they're sort of like the second half of a pair. So the female usually always comes in first, and then it's the male. So even when we have had male companions, they've not been primary, like off their own steam, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it should be. Look, you're right. I don't know what the fascination is with modern day companions. I mean, even Moffat had a chance with Clara, but he chose to go with a modern Clara instead of the Victorian Clara. I don't know why they keep doing that.
I know, but and it's like, okay, that's a valid reason if you're not like really excited for this companion, but literally to complain because of stuff which is physical, which is his gender, and the fact that you didn't get your all-female TARDIS team, which is, I agree with you, that's a lot of the salt right now. That Chibnall dangled that in front of them. They thought they were going to get it, and he's not delivered what they wanted. So they're kicking their like toys out the pram basically with this reaction. But it's like, did you really think that it's like you wanted another first? You wanted to say, look at what we've done. But how long would that carry in a series? By like the third episode, it would be no longer an issue that it was two females. Like, it's not something you can carry a season across. Whereas a companion being added, yes, you can if it's done right. Even though I've said this in the past, if he really wanted to develop 13 and Yaz, he probably should have kept it just the two of them. And I think that's why also certain companions have stuck out, like Jack in the past, because he was something different. And like I said, obviously we don't know what he's like, but this reaction is just it's
over the top if you ask me.
Yeah, that's what comes out to me. It's like, you've not seen him yet. You don't know what his character's like. We've literally been given tiny little bits of information because that's all Tibbs can do.
It's not that though. Yeah, it's the way he worded it, Chibnall. Though he knew exactly what he was doing. By the way, like John Bishop will add a different flavor to Doctor Who. He knew by writing that he was going to upset these crackpots, because that's what they are. They're crackpots, because they get offended about the least little thing. And the thing about it is, though, what's quite shocking is that they're accusing him of all sorts, like, just because they're angry with Chibnall. And the thing about it is, you should be directing your anger at Chibnall, not the actor that he's hired to be a companion in Doctor Who. It's not his fault. If he's offered a job, he's going to take it. He's not going to say no.
Yeah, and also, he's probably going to be a one-shot series companion, so he had some time. He probably was like, oh, it's some money. It would be a good bit of press before I go back to touring, or if he can go back to touring because of current stuff. But they do seem to have this weird blind spot, don't they? It's like all your issues, you are not talking about the root cause. You won't talk about the root cause. And it's just like, you're not, because it's, even now the articles that are coming out, they're sort of, they know the writing isn't that good, oh, this isn't that good, but they're not really nailing it to Chibnall. It's like his name is like, they can't dare to criticize it. And that I don't understand. It's like, only one guy is currently is showrunner, is the one making these decisions, is the one who's deciding not to do development, who's doing this stupid retcon, who decided I'm going to have 3 companions when it's blatantly obvious you can't write for that many characters. And like we all were like, oh, he's probably going to slim down for Series 13. He's not slimming down the companions for Series 13 in the slightest. And it's just like, but that's the thing that it's just, but that's the thing that really got my, also my, like, got me a bit annoyed when I saw some of the tweets. They were like, oh, we've had to add another male companion. And I'm like, have you watched the show? We hardly have male companions. And if they do, they're like I said, they're either a boyfriend, so they're not really there, like Rory, even though he ended up being very strong and very sort of a developed character. He basically started off as, I'm jealous of the Doctor, so I'm going to go travelling with him and Amy.
In Classic Who, we had a few male companions, all right, but they were with other companions. It wasn't just. So again, I don't know why they're only complaining because they wanted an all-female TARDIS. That's what it is, and the reason why they want an all-female TARDIS is because we already know why they want an all-female TARDIS. It's so obvious, and that's why they're throwing their prams or their toys out of the pram, because they know this is the last opportunity for it to happen, because they know now that she's leaving. And now all of a sudden, now look, you're seeing the true nature of these fans anyway. They've been constantly attacking the man for the last couple of days, and now they've turned their attention to every male member in the fandom now, accusing us of only wanting female companions because we sexualize all the women in the show. So this is the new thing that they're coming out. Yeah, we basically sexualize all the women in the show. We can't see past short skirts and all of this rubbish.
So how about Catherine Tate?
Exactly.
How about Donna? That was the whole point of Donna's character, that they'd had Rose, who was like the young, good-looking sort of romance. Then they'd had Martha, who was still quite a good-looking girl, but it was like unrequited love, so it was sort of still a bit of romance, but it was all on her end. And then we literally had Donna.
But these fans, they're very forgetful when it comes to, the history. They always they always it's all propaganda. They basically try to look at when they come in and said Doctor Who wasn't diverse, we knew that was a lie. Right? Same thing here. More like listen, if they don't want, fair enough, right? I can understand where they're coming from to a certain extent, right? Another, a modern day companion, yes, I'm sick of that myself, right? But to give out the fact because this is what they always call him, a white male, right? Because to keep calling him, they have a problem. This is the thing as well, though, that I've noticed, is that they seem to bring up John Bishop's skin color quite a lot when they're attacking him. Yet they'll go around calling everybody else racist. But is it not racist to bring up someone's skin color all the time? I don't know. Is that not a little bit hypocritical?
But basically, he's a perceived okay target. That's the difference.
Well, they said that he made lesbians feel uncomfortable because of jokes that he told years ago. And then apparently he hates lesbians. And then there's an article that I threw up that shows he actually supports the LGBTQ plus community. It's actually quite funny. And then when they got caught out on that, then that's when they start changing the rhetoric to the rest of the blokes that were in the fandom and start attacking us then with their stupid little threads, trying to incite hatred actually. With their posts, I've thrown them up over Twitter the last couple of days. You should have seen some of the nonsense that's
This is
coming
why
out
I
from
don't.
female fans. It's absolutely disgusting what they're
Yeah,
saying. They're trying to make us men out to be all perverts, basically, and that is wrong. Just because look, you they can get you our own way doesn't give you the right to go around and start accusing people of vile, disgusting stuff. Leave it out. Like,
yeah,
cop
but
on.
here's the problem. Chibs has let these wolves into our den, basically. He opened the door because he blatantly said with this era, my priority is the politics. My priority is to look good and to virtue signal. So it's made a load of these types come in. And because they're, like you said, they're not getting their way. And I believe even if he does do the whole plasmin thing, I agree with you. It's not going to be anything of substance
No.
because he's not set it up. One line, and it makes me laugh a bit because I will admit to this, I like fanfic. I know what it is. I know exactly what it can be like, but I accept that. So I know shipping. I've seen shipping. I've done it myself, but not in the way the current sort of way you do it is. It's just a fun little thing that I can do with shows. But I know what shippers are like. So literally, all they do need is a line. They don't need any substance. They just need a line and their perceivedness of, oh, I can see something in this, so it must be in the show. And he doesn't have, but Chibs knows this. So he's deliberately teasing them. He's deliberately put in enough, just enough, that these folks can go, oh, look, he's going to give us what we want. But you're right. It's a family show. The BBC are not going to allow him to do a full-on what these fans want.
No.
They won't
Not on
because
Doctor Who anyway. I
well,
mean,
no,
they
but
could do it on EastEnders or whatever. Go ahead, but not Doctor Who. They won't. No.
no, but also think about the time slot. This is going to be put on at like 7 or something on a Sunday night.
Exactly.
So it's and even when we've had romance with Rose and Ten, if you want to go well, but they've done romance before. He didn't even say I love you to her.
No, he didn't.
He didn't
Obviously,
even say I love you. So
yeah.
why are they going to do a full on romantic thing now? When thanks to that lovely little scene he did, we've established she's socially awkward. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry, it's all one end. Even if the little tiny like breadcrumbs he's done, it's all one end. And the doctor, do you not think she's got enough technically that she's like, I don't know who I am anymore. I've literally been told I'm not Time Lord. My planet isn't the one I thought it was going to be. I think that's going to be our priority over Yasmin batting her eyelids
Exactly.
a little bit at her.
Exactly. Alpha Omega actually brings up a good point, though. He says double standard. They complain about female companions sexualized. Then the female viewers drop off because they went to an older Capaldi who wasn't a Tennant or Smith younger doc. Exactly, that did happen. Now, not all the girls obviously walked away, but I will agree with you that a majority of them did. I mean, I even have to say I think it was a little bit of a misstep by the BBC because if you are Peter Capaldi was great casting. Don't get me wrong. But if you're going from Matt Smith to Peter Capaldi, it is going to be hard for fans. Why do you think Moffat did that scene with Clara, right? With Peter standing beside his TARDIS and Matt Smith on the phone. Why do you think he brought the two doctors in for that scene? Because he was trying to show the younger fans that they were the same person. Just because it's an older guy, he looks older, it's still the same Doctor. So that's why he had to do that scene to try win some of these younger fans over, or the fan girls over. But unfortunately, it didn't work for some of them, and they did. But you're right, there is a double standard. But they're only attacking us now because they've nothing else left. They won't attack the man that's truly responsible. That's the thing. Or go and complain to him. I'm not saying attack him, but go and complain to him. He's the
Or
one that's.
just basically, I'd say you've promised things that you've not delivered at this point. Because, like, if your rumor's right about the male Doctor next, he is that is proof that he has done such a bad job with 13 that the BBC or some enough forces have gone, oh, we're not even going to try a second go with this.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, that's how much he's butchered the whole female Doctor thing. And it's
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
And it's also, like you said, they seem so upset. They call you guys, and they're trying to make out that you guys are, you're just there for the eye candy, you're just there for the female companions. Well, I'm pretty sure in Classic, I'm not saying it didn't have moments, but if you look at some of the most beloved Classic companions, they're not sexualized in Classic. Sarah Jane, from what I've seen of her, it was her intelligence, it was her integrity. So I've said that wrong. Like her spirit that stood out. Look at Jo. She's a sweetheart, and it was very much a sort of father-daughter thing almost of her and the Third Doctor. Like, I'm not saying some weren't, because for God's sake, Perry, but it's I think what they do, they take the worst examples, don't they, and then amplify it and say that's for every character.
That's all they do. They're just amplifying everything. To be quite honest with you, we got a super chat. You might as well hang on there because nobody else seems to want to come on. So Lee, do us a favor, if you could put the link in the chat again. If anybody wants to come on, this is our opportunity to come on and have you as our say. Lee is at the putting the link there. We've got 41 people watching. I'm sure there's a few of you that would love to come on and have a bit of a chat. But we have a super chat as well. €5 super chat. Off the top of my head, Rory is the only full-time male companion in the TARDIS before Jodie's run. Jack's been in the TARDIS of the top 2 or 3 times. Yeah, in New Who, you're right. Yeah, New Who, definitely right. In Classic Who, though, there was plenty of male.
But you can tell they're talking from a New Who perspective, so they haven't got a leg to stand on.
Yeah. But
I'm gonna be honest. That's one of the reasons why I was actually happy about Bradley and Tolson initially being cast, because I wanted male companions, because I was fed up with the back teeth of female young companions. Because I was just like, there seems to be 2 things they can either do with these characters. They're either a romance for the Doctor, or there's some sort of weird, plot device, like Clara. And it's like they really seemed to be. They got to a point where they couldn't think of any good stories for that type of companion anymore. So when I heard, they're doing Bradley Walsh and Tolson, I was like, actually, that's interested me. That's actually one of the reasons why I was actually not excited, but I was actually intrigued with Series 11. So I was like, do you know what? That's actually a different companion setup. We've got an older male, we've got a younger male, and a female. That actually means we could have some real different stories, some different life experiences on screen. And it's just like, John Bishop's come in and suddenly, you daresn't cast another white male. And it's just, okay, Lovies, you've not seen him yet. So you don't have a clue what his character's like. And you're already basically saying you shouldn't have even approached him, you shouldn't even considered him. It's just like I said, this is the fan he's invited in.
I know.
And it's sort of, I love the irony that he's invited these wolves in, like I referred to them before, and finally they're starting to bite him. Finally, they're starting to get their eye to his camp and to some of his decisions. And it's just like, well, enjoy it, mate, because you made this a possibility. If you hadn't have caved to them, if you hadn't have given them enough that they thought you were on their side, they wouldn't have thought they had a right to now kick up a fuss.
Lee
And
dropping some S bombs in the chat. Lee dropping some S bombs in the chat. Oi, you behave yourself in that chat. You're supposed to set an example to everybody there, my friend. Yeah? It's a joke, Charlie. You can smile.
Oh, no, I was just reading. I was just because I'm on here, so I have to go to the other screen.
Because I thought, oh, Charlotte thinks I'm really giving out some now. That you now have to be. You're in a timeout now, Lee. Timeout.
Oh, I know. I joke you two are a married couple. You're just having a spat as usual.
Oh, look what he's at the doing now.
What's he doing?
Look at the way he's at the writing it up. Look at the way he's at the writing it up. Look.
Oh, Lee, you're supposed to be the responsible adult.
I know, isn't he? Isn't he?
That's what we're saying.
And you know what? I was going to bring him on next, but because Jack can only stay on for a few minutes, is it all right if I bring Jack on before you, Lee? Because he said he can only, in the private chat, I think he said he can't come on for long. So we'll just bring him on for the couple of minutes that he wants to come on
he
for.
Come on next. I've had plenty of time.
Yeah, well, you've done well tonight, but thanks for helping me stay afloat tonight. I don't know what it is. I think people are still adjusting to the fact that I'm back, and it's going to take a couple of weeks to get this back into full swing. But yeah, listen, thanks for coming on.
Really, and also it's Seeds. I got the title wrong for the classic. The chat corrected me. It's Seeds of Death.
It's Seeds of Death, not the Seeds of Doom.
No, because I said Seeds of Doom, but that's a Tom story. The chat told me pretty quickly.
Right. Okay, so it's Sugar. Do I have that on DVD? What is it again?
Seeds of Death? Chat, correct me if I got told.
I think I might have that there somewhere. Okay, well, we'll figure something out anyway. But yeah, well, I suppose we didn't think we were going to be back this weekend as quick. But there you go. We'll sort that anyway. But we're back for the Classic Who watch along, guys. And then on Sunday for New Who, we'll be also on the Irish Geek as well, in between that as well. The only reason why I wasn't streaming really yesterday was because of a bad shoulder. But do you want to do your shout outs before you leave? Because I'm pretty sure yourself and Daniel are going to be doing something.
Well, like I said, we've done our Beware, so that's up. And like I said, Daniel was so happy that he commented. So that was lovely. And then on Tuesday coming up, we've got our chill, relax, general chat stream. Daniel and Charlotte's excellent chat. He likes to give it long titles, so I can't remember them. Yeah. I think that's... But basically, it's our chill, relax stream on Tuesday.
You know what they say, Daniel? Less is more. Less is more, pal. I used to be like you with the real long, bloody yokes, man. It gets less is more, trust me. Less is more. But you listen, keep doing what you're doing. You're knocking it out of the park, by the way. And I know Beware was in the chat as well. And I seen that I think you retweeted him today on Twitter. I don't know if he responded back to you, but listen, man, you're knocking out of the park yourself, Charlotte, and everybody else. Keep it going, man. Keep it going. You're doing great. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do support Charlotte and Daniel. They'll be both there.
Oh, I have to wave. Hello.
And they do have guests on as well. So check them out, please do. Daniel's a good egg. He's only there's only a few good eggs in this fandom, and he's definitely one of them. I don't mean any disrespect to anybody else. You know what I mean by good egg. He's a legend. International. Isn't that right? I don't
He,
think we
he
should
can
call
he
it
can
international
get
legend.
he can get nice and
New
fiery,
legend.
but he's lovely.
Yeah, he's a world legend. A world legend, not an international world. There you go. He's a
Universal.
world legend. Yeah. Right. Listen, Charlotte, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. And listen, I'll
No
see you
problem.
tomorrow and enjoy your weekend and stay safe and look after
Yeah,
yourself.
I'm now on holiday for a week, so that's nice. I've got lions.
Oh, lovely, brilliant. We all love lying down. Well, I have a lion every day, so I can't complain. There you go. When I'm not in pain, of course.
Oh, of
I'm not
course.
here. Yeah, of course. Right. Good night, Charlotte.
No, I see everybody in the chat.
See you. Bye bye. Right. Let's see what happened in the private chat. That's no probs. Right. Let's bring him on. It's the one and only Jack.
Hi everyone.
How are you, Jack?
Fine.
Right. What would you like to talk about, pal?
I'm not too sure. What's the topic? I just joined
Well,
a few minutes ago.
well, on this we don't really have a topic, but I suppose we could pick one. Actually, anybody does there anybody I don't know if anything really big happened over. Let me see. Well, actually, you could discuss, I suppose, what Charlotte just brought up there about the fact that John Bishop obviously is the center of attention for these newer fans, and they seem to be taking their frustration out on him. If you'd like to give your thoughts on that, why you think that might be happening?
I mean, I struggle with the psychology of these people, to be honest. I I think people forget, don't they need a white male to lecture to? Like that might be the reason why they brought him in.
Right. Jack, I know you did say to me that you were going to be very low, but you were actually so low that you're at whisper. We can't really hear you, pal.
Is this okay?
Yeah, that sounds a lot better. Go ahead.
Oh, good. Sorry, yeah, these headphones aren't great. I was just thinking that maybe they've brought him in to be the one who gets lectured to.
Well, yeah, well, we never actually thought of that. Yeah,
Because
actually,
don't they need a white male to talk down to?
yeah, I didn't really see that much with Graham, though. In fairness, now, uh, let's be honest, we didn't actually see that. If you did watch actually the series, I didn't really see that much with Graham, and I think a lot of people in the chat would agree with me. She didn't really talk down to Graham. She did talk down to other white men now in the show, all right, but she didn't talk down to Graham. Now, obviously, John Bishop's playing a different character, and you could have a point. You know, there could be a total shift there, but I mean, the fact that he's being attacked because he was cast it just boggles the mind, to be quite honest with you. I mean, it's not his fault.
No, definitely. I mean, I just honestly, I can't believe that these people are even in the fandom. It's like you're complaining about nothing. You haven't seen him yet. You know,
Yeah,
how do you know whether he's going to be good or bad or not? And you call everyone racists, but you're judging him based on his skin color.
yeah, that's happening a lot, and I've put up a lot of posts actually on Twitter to highlight this. Now I've covered most people's names, but the ones that I threw up last night, I decided not to cover the names because if you're gonna spread that toxic rubbish about men in this fandom, well then I'm sorry, you deserve to be exposed for your stupidity. But for the rest of them, yeah, I mean, look, again, they seem to be directing their anger at the wrong person. I mean, Chris Chibnall, if they obviously they wanted an all female Tardis team. Okay, now whether people agree with that or not, that's fine. Everybody has a different opinion on that. But the thing about it is that they should be actually going to Chris Chibnall saying, "Hey, why haven't you? Why didn't you just leave it an all female Tardis team?" You know what I mean? And you know what? Actually, I never brought this up. Should have brought it up actually when Charlotte was on. Remember, Chris Chibnall's not on social media, and I think he knows the reason. And I think I know the reason why. Because could you imagine if he had been when John Bishop was announced? They'd be going after him and not John Bishop, but because he's not on, they're taking out on people that they can that happen to be around, and unfortunately, it happens to be John Bishop.
Yeah. The last I checked, harassment was illegal, but apparently not today.
No, they're getting away with a lot.
This thing about like an all-female Tardis team. Recently, well, currently, I'm actually watching the Hartnell era, and Barbara Wright is my favourite of the group.
Yeah, classic.
So, and yeah, I just think Classic Who handled women so much better. And I think I said this on one of your previous streams. It's like, I know a lot of people think that women are just there to scream and, drive the plot forward, which yes, some are. But I think Barbara was one of those where she was often the center of the plot. I think Verity herself had a real love for Barbara and wanted her to be in the show, but she never talks down to the Doctor and she never talks down to Ian. She's just a strong female because she is strong.
Yeah, and she had to deal with a lot as well. Actually, Barbara doesn't get well, probably with Classic Who fans, she does get the credit, but when they mention when they do polls, I actually have to say not many of the Classic companions really feature in companion polls. It's always a mix of the new Who ones, and you'll get Sarah Jane in there maybe. You know?
Yeah. I mean, the majority of my top 10 are Classic, and I know some people may disagree, but I'm a bit of a Joe Grant fan.
Yeah, no, David, there's plenty of Joe Grant fans here in the chat.
I'd have loved her to have her own spin-off.
Yeah, she could have actually. I mean, after obviously Liz passed away, I was hoping that they would be able to convince one of the former Classic companions maybe to do a show to fill the void. But I don't know if they would have at the time. They may have declined out of respect, obviously. But I wouldn't have minded seeing an Ace spin-off. To be quite honest with you, I wouldn't have minded an Ace spin-off because she was an interesting companion. And I think that would work. I still think it could work today after she did that little cameo in the little video that they did for the Blu-ray release. So there's potential. Actually, here's a question, because well done, because you've actually brought something up. Well, it actually made me think of something that I read. So the Radio Times actually did a podcast, and they're talking about, is it time that Doctor Who has an extended cinematic universe? And I was kind of thinking about it, right? But I'll tell you my opinion in a minute. I think some people already know. But what would you think of a cinematic spin-off universe? Would you be up for it?
For me, I'm not a big fan of cinematic universes. I'd rather they kind of like the MCU. I rather films just be films again. But with a thing like Doctor Who, it's a universe we can go anywhere, do anything. And I think in the current state the show's in, no. But then again, in saying that, I think it might be nice where if this show maybe goes for a rest or has some time off air, you could keep the franchise going with spin-offs, kind of like how they did in the 90s with Downtime.
Downtime?
Yeah, and like those little, I don't know if they were made by fans, but during the 90s they had these little spin-off things.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Some of them are good, and obviously some of them are bleeding absolutely dire. Well, you know, that's what you'd get with stuff like that. But no, yeah, that I mean, look, for me personally, this is where I stand, right? No cinematic extended universe works unless the main show itself is healthy. Everything must be built on solid foundations, and right now, Doctor Who isn't that solid foundation. You get Doctor Who right, and then I would say bring back Torchwood because you know John Barrowman has made it clear he wants to play it. Dye's here again. He doesn't look too bleeding bad. New Torchwood team, right? Get that show established, right? Make sure that's on strong foundations, and then start slowly but surely. Then you know, extend the universe. That's what I would do, right? But again, you know, the main show is not healthy. Merchandise is down. Merchandise sales ratings are down. Everything is down. So I mean, until they change it up and fix the show, there is no chance of a cinematic universe. I don't think it would work right now. It would fail. Um, so I think that Radio Times should stop doing stupid podcasts like that and actually do podcasts actually coming out and condemning what BBC and Chris Chibnall have done to Doctor Who
But
and actually tell them that they need to fix the main show instead of talking about stupid cinematic extended universes that wouldn't even work now right now.
but
Just
that's
because
it.
everybody else is doing it doesn't mean that Doctor Who should do it anyway. They're idiots. Those people at the Radio Times are a bunch of clowns.
But that's it, isn't it? They're trying so desperately to keep interest in the show when it clearly isn't there.
It's
I
not,
mean, I was in Tesco's today, and I was just looking through the DVD section, and I saw Resolution of the Daleks on the shelf, and it made me upset because it made me think back to when I was a kid, and I was like, oh my god, I remember when like Series 3 was on the shelf, and I would just be looking at it like, which one should I get? But
yeah.
here I am looking at this, thinking it's teasing me. You know, I don't want it, but it reminds me of a time when I did want to buy a Doctor Who DVD. You know, it's just
Um,
I wonder how long that'll be on the shelf.
well, you know, look, we know the merchandise is not selling. Of course, the other side will spin it and say that they're buying. Yeah, you might be buying a little bit of merchandise here and there, but you're certainly not. You're certainly not buying enough to keep the BBC afloat. Sure, even here's another thing as well. I heard the magazine. Now, if this is true, and to be honest, I had a quick look myself, right, and I find no evidence to support this so far. But apparently, Doctor Who magazine has been going on a bit of a blocking spree. So I tested that out. So what I basically did was I put it in, I checked who they follow, right? And then I checked who's following them. And a lot of the people that follow me are obviously there. So they haven't been blocked. So someone is saying that they're blocking people. If that is the case, I don't think Doctor Who magazine are in the position to be blocking everybody when last year they were basically begging people, right? What was there, 70% off sale? And they were begging people to buy the magazine and they think they can afford to block people. Well, I tell you, if that is happening, well, I don't care. Die, Doctor Who magazine, die.
Well, all
Get
I can
away.
say is I used to be able to get the magazine at my local one stop. I haven't seen it in there for a long time.
Yeah, being honest with you, look, it'd be sad to see that magazine go. But if it's the only thing to send a message, then it go. Get rid of
I
it.
will say this. I will say I was a bit guilty. I did pick up one issue a couple of months back because it had these cool Classic Who things in it. It had a Talons of Wen Chiang poster.
Oh no, I know
But
they were doing, yeah, but they were doing that a lot. Actually, I noticed that as well, and they were doing a lot of dual covers as well. Actually, to try sell it, they were actually putting
yeah, no, they
Doctor
did. It's a picture of Tom and Lala, I think,
Yeah,
or a picture of Tom and Louise.
yeah,
And I swear, I just put the poster up and then I think I threw the magazine away.
yeah. Well, it is sad. Like, don't get me wrong. Used to buy the magazine myself. Um, used to be a fan of all the articles, the people that worked on the magazine. But now it's a totally different ball game and situation altogether now. Um, I wouldn't support them. They've been very critical towards fans, and if they are blocking people, I will say again, they can't really be afford to do that. And if they have, and if someone can actually provide me with proof that they have, let me know because I will do a stream on that because I do believe it must be highlighted because these people are a joke if they're blocking people when they're begging. They're literally begging for money. So I don't know why they'd be going and doing things like that. But again, I would say to the people on our side of the argument, leave the magazine alone. It's going to die anyway. As I told you, just keep concentrating on Chris Chibnall. He's the one that you need to be concentrating on. He's the one you need to be highlighting. His writing, his the choices that he's made with his writing team. He's made a lot of bad choices there, right? His writing, his character development, it's all there to be criticized. So forget about the magazine. Forget about Big Finish, right? Forget about all of these other things, right? And as I said, forget about all of those little trolls out there because I have, right? And if you've noticed since I've started to ignore them, or since we've completely blacked out and not responded to any of these. We have a lot more peace now, and they're not as loud as they used to be. Everybody just needs to concentrate on Chris Chibnall. He's the man. Listen, we know he's staying for Series 13. We don't want him around for Series 14 because if he is, the show is over. So this is the time to step up and be counted now, right? So everybody must focus on Chris Chibnall. That is your main focus. And remember, there will be plenty to talk about because eventually we'll start getting an idea of what Series 13 is going to shape up like. We're gonna get some details, right? So we'll be able to examine those and we'll be able to examine those and what you call it, and then we will obviously analyze everything that got. But I'll tell you, listen, already with photos that we've seen, we've got old-fashioned Santarans. We're getting more historicals. We know he's not great at the historicals. Yeah, a lot of people out there will say that his historicals are the best thing that's happened to Doctor Who. I disagree. I think they've all been an absolute disgrace. So I'm not even now. The fact that I know there's going to be historicals, I'm not optimistic at all. So we need to keep the focus on him because that Weasley little snake is not on social media. He's letting everybody else remember this though, right? I think people forget this. He's not on social media, but everybody else that's connected with the show are the ones that are getting it in the neck off the fans or getting it in the neck off the J-bots, because of decisions that he's making. And that's wrong. So we need to keep just focusing on him. He is the focus. It's his decisions that brought us here, and he's the one that needs to be highlighted. And I think we've kind of been distracted by all the other nonsense that's going on in the fandom and all this other crap. We just need to focus on Chris Chibnall. Jack, listen, is there anything else you would like to add before we get on Lee? Because we have to bring Lee on and then we have another guest to come on. Is there anything else you'd like to add, mate?
I was thinking, I just realised that we haven't really had a Sontaran story since 2008. One where like an actual proper one.
That's true, actually.
And
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, will the Sontaran ones be in a historical one? Because I can sense a Time Warrior ripoff coming.
That's what I said, and even maybe a bit of the Sontaran experiment mixed in with the war games. I think that's the way it's gonna be, or something. If there's only well, how many episodes is there now? There's only 8. So if there's only 8, what was the War Games? It was what, 7, 8 episodes, 9. Oh, I forget.
It was 10.
10. It was a big long ass one. So he could be doing the same thing for a whole season, but putting his spin on it. Because remember, he doesn't come up with an original idea. What he does is he takes other people's ideas. He's like JJ and Alex Kurtzman. They like to take other people's ideas and then put their own little flavor and twist on it, and then it ends up being worse. Yeah. I don't know, man. We're in for a hell of a couple of few months, man. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. But listen, Jack, is there anybody you want to shout out before you go? All right,
I'd like to shout out Charlotte. She's really good. I think she's one of the best guests you have on the show, and Daniel as well, really amazing, and you and Lee, as normal.
Thanks very much. I really appreciate it. And Charlotte is a treasure, all right.
Also, before I go, sorry, I forget her name, but the actress who's been fired from Lucasfilm, everyone's going on about.
Gina Carano.
That's it, yeah, Gina Carano, yeah. I just there's an awesome female Time Lord right there.
Yeah, don't think that'll go down too well with the fans, mate. Yeah,
it's just.
Yeah, we'll leave at that. No, that's definitely not going down well with fans. No. Let the Star Wars fans deal with their own shit, man. That's what I say. And we've already had to deal with crap from Whitaker and Chibnall. We don't need any more pulled on now. What we want now is we want a doctor, the right person cast for the role. And
I don't necessarily mean the Doctor. I just mean like a cool female Time Lord.
I wouldn't mind her playing a villain. Wouldn't mind her playing a villain now, to be honest myself. But
maybe the Rani.
They could say you'd probably have to set it in America though, because I don't think she can do a British accent. Okay. Yeah, as PD Rich said, could she do a British accent? I don't think so. So that'd probably be a little bit of a problem. But, throw names out there. It's an interesting name. Yeah. Right, Jack, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. We do this, as you know, every Wednesday and Friday, so you're more than welcome to come on anytime you have a chance to come on. And I really appreciate it.
No. Thanks so much for having me on.
No problem. You look after yourself, pal.
You too, Noel. Bye.
Bye. Right, that's Jack. Right. Right, I'll bring the 2 years on together then. Fair enough. We might as well end with 2 guests because they obviously have a bit of a bromance going. And I should have known better. I feel left out now. All by myself. I don't want to be. Right, let's bring him on. It's the one and only human being, but he's also a feckin' problem being.
I still love you.
Yeah. Oh, feck off. Right, let us bring on your new buddy, Mr. Singh. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me on.
No problem. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Just observing with my popcorn this whole Twitter storm that's going on. But yeah, getting by. I've seen a problem being in a few Twitter fights recently, so just sitting back observing.
Well, I'm rendering this fucking nuclear explosion for the entire day. From the morning, and it's still going, and it's not even two-thirds done.
Are you going to make it in time for his campaign tomorrow?
No. I've already said it's not going to be done by tomorrow. He knows. I've told him about a week ago.
Yeah. So, yeah. Right, hold on, because there's a couple of new people that are coming in the chat since you came on. I didn't give them an old shout out there. So we have Clobbering Times in the chat. We've also got Tim in the chat as well. Welcome. I think I see more names. What is wrong with my computer tonight? I'm having a lot of technical technical difficulties tonight. We've got Rachel in the chat as well. Welcome, Rachel. And we've got Pam. And we got David. And I think Shane is also in the chat. We got the third doctor in the chat. The Adventuring Nerd. CJ Campbell 37. Jay's a lot you come in, didn't you? Matt, welcome. Nice to see you. I don't like leaving anybody out. So if I have, let me know. Just drop your name in there again. Right, lads, I'm just going to ask you what you want to bloody talk about, because I've got a funny feeling that I'm not going to get away from this Gina Carano. So, like, let's just get it done and over with, right? So, what do you actually want to say about it? Because, like, seriously, I've heard it all now, and it's all becoming a bit of a joke, really. I mean, I made me point earlier on. Lee, you would have heard me point earlier on. I said we've always said that actors and actresses, we don't like them talking about their political.
Well, I think it should be written into their contract. You know, if they want a media presence and they're there to sell the product in which they're in, I think it's a bit incumbent upon them. I think it should be a clause in a contract, really, where you keep your personal shit to yourself. Whilst that's not in place, she's got every right to say what she wants to say. I've got no problem with that whatsoever. I think it's incumbent also upon people in the social media sphere to also have a little bit less animosity themselves. I think people need to put themselves into check. Unfortunately, people don't have that maturity to do that, seemingly. So, you know, you have to keep batting people like bloody flies. But yeah, I think it would be sensible to avoid any of this unnecessary nastiness to happen, that people shouldn't be forced to act as a bunch of people want you to, i.e. to put in pronouns in your profile by force and that kind of thing. That kind of shit should, I mean, the social media platforms themselves should enforce that they don't allow that kind of thing to happen. It shouldn't be happening. I mean, there are harassment rules already in place. Why they're not being you know, actions, I don't know. I don't get it. Well, I do get it. I mean, we know Twitter's political bent. So I think it's a huge double standard. And look, you know, we were all sick to death of fucking activists playing actors, you know, one side or the other, you know. I think it's I think if you're an actor and you're promoting something like a TV show or a film or whatever, then it should be in your contract. You know, just shut your fucking mouth.
Your personal politics to yourself.
If you want a private account, by all means, set one up and under a pseudonym or set it up so it's completely private. Whatever, do that. But
at least if you're gonna do stuff like that. Again, as you said, don't even use a different account. Don't use your name, so people don't know who it bloody is.
But having said that, no one should be cancelled or fired from their jobs because of something they said on Twitter.
Well, absolutely. This is the point I will make. If Gina was fired, then you have to fire Pedro, and you have to fire.
Exactly.
In fairness, though, I think they all should be fired, though, because at the end of the day, as I said, we actors and actresses are hired to act. That's all they're hired to do. They're not hired to tell us what their political stances are on certain issues. They're not there to promote the ideology. They're there to act. Right?
By all means, if you want to be political, then go and be a fucking politician.
Exactly.
I mean, half these actors are as dumb as shit.
But I think a lot of people out there, Lee, kind of lost perspective a little bit. While I do get, that fans have rallied behind her, but at the same time, you're all being hypocrites because you have always all said, keep politics out of our TV shows. Don't be spewing these are nonsense, whether you're left or right, on Twitter, because you're there, you represent the show, you represent the company. And if they, as I said, though, I can understand why they have, because Disney have sacked her and not sacked other people. Yeah. And I think what we're all missing here is they all should have been sacked. Right?
Well, I think there has to be a distinction. There has to be a distinction.
Every single one of them that come out with Anton, that called fans Nazis or whatever it was, right? Every single one of them should have been sacked.
Well, that's the thing. I think if you're being deliberately obtuse and doing something to be obtuse and to try and provoke in a nasty and mean way, if the intent is to be a bastard to fans, then yes. Gina Carano, she hasn't done that. That's the difference. She hasn't, she's been harassed and bullied for months and months. So then she's provoked into saying something in response. Now, I was speaking to Ian Mega Geek on a stream not that long ago yesterday, and he said they shouldn't just respond. I don't know if that's I think maybe a bit of restraint will go a long way. Look, it can work in her favor or it can work against her. Maybe this is the best thing that could happen to her. We don't know. We'll see what happens. But she's got a new film thing come out now. She's doing something with Ben Shapiro.
Clobber and Times makes a point, but Gina didn't attack paying customers. It doesn't matter whether she did or not. She was still guilty of putting her political beliefs out there when she's an actress, when she's hired to do a job.
I think she was trying not to.
Pedro should have been sacked. The woman from the High Republic should have been sacked, and any other Disney employee that has come out with rhetoric over the last couple of months and last year as well. That's the point.
Let's be fair though. Let's be fair though. I don't think she intended to. I think what happened is that they were testing her by trying to see if she would commit to putting her pronouns in. And then they were testing the water with that. And when she said no, after months of harassment, then it really started to pile on. And that's when all the accusations started and then she was a trans. And then I think from that point, they smelt blood in the water. So it didn't really matter what she said, at that point.
Yeah, I agree. And listen, I'm not saying she wasn't persecuted on Twitter. I've been persecuted as well, though.
I know, and I fought for you as well.
Loads of people are Lee is being persecuted on Twitter. Nobody is free from persecution on Twitter. You know what I mean? But what I felt is that sometimes I do believe she was poking the bear with a stick. There was times where this is why I'm pissed off at her. She already had the fans behind her. She had the fandom menace behind her, right? They were calling for her to get her own show, right? They were calling for her to remain on The Mandalorian. The momentum was with her. She was going on streams. Everything was going well. And then she had to tweet something. And yes, someone should have, before she put the tweet out, say, maybe that's not worded properly. Maybe you should reword it. That's all, right? Because it would have been misconstrued, which it was. And unfortunately, because of that, and it wasn't just because of that, by the way, it was loads of other incidents. And apparently in November, herself, Pedro, and a couple of the others were warned that they weren't to be coming out with stuff like this. But she continued to do it. And if you continue to poke a bear, unfortunately, what's going to happen is that bear is going to turn around and bite you in the ass.
It doesn't take much poking, though.
Let's be honest. The left end bit her in the ass, and this is what happened. They called for her to be fired, and she was fired. So,
Esh, chime in, mate.
Yeah.
Esh, get Esh to chime in.
Yeah, go ahead, Esh.
I'm just sitting back. I might as well get some more popcorn at this rate.
You're gonna run out.
Well, I think she shouldn't have been fired. I don't think she did anything to warrant a firing. She just made. I agree with Clobber, and she just really made an analogy based on certain things. She didn't get too political. She's never really been too political anyway.
Yeah, but she's not hired for that. She's not hired for that, Esh. That's the point.
Well, neither was Pedro Pascal, but everyone's rallying to his defense.
But he's being fired too. That's what I'm trying to say. I lost perspective here. They're hired to act. They're not hired for anything else. That's all they're hired for. They're hired to do a job. They're hired to act. Read a script. Read the words. That's all they're hired to do. They're not hired to tell us what their beliefs are. Okay? And everybody's saying freedom of speech. Yeah, it is freedom of speech. But at the end of the day, she's an actress. She's not an activist. Right? Actors out there, right? They're not supposed to be activists. They're actors and actresses They're paid to do a job, and their job is to act and read a script. And that's the only thing that I'm trying to say here. At the end of the day, that's it. And by the letter of the law, they all should have been sacked, not just Gina. They all should have been sacked. I think we have lost perspective because we always said the reason why the fandom menace started up, the reason why we all started up is because of all of this nonsense, because of the politics, because it was creeping into the show. Actors and actresses were coming out and spewing their crap. But now all of a sudden, we're defending an actress that comes out and does the very thing that we've been complaining about for the last few years.
Well, we shouldn't even be in this situation. This is the problem. Like, it used to be that actors could say something political and that would be an interesting discourse and everyone would either disagree or agree and then move on with their lives. Now it's like on Twitter, everything's kind of overly focused. You know, it's like under a microscope. And it's incumbent upon people to say enough. No, you can't have everything your own way. You know, look, it's created an interesting debate. It has nothing else.
That's it. Esh, would you like to? Sorry, because I did cut across while you were making the point.
No, that's fine.
Would you like to continue what you were going to say there, pal?
Yeah, no, it was just carrying on along the same sort of thought process where we were just saying that again, what I think is she was in the right. She wasn't getting too opinionated. She's never really been too opinionated. There's certain other actors and other employees which we've already mentioned that have done much more, and I think should be ostracized more from the company. But everyone's rallying to their defenses, and when the real fans, the real paying customers, are rallying to the defense of Gina, she's the one that's fired and not everyone else. So I think the issues surrounding the companies go much higher up than what we initially think is like going right to the top, because it's all good and well saying don't put political opinions on the internet. Everyone does. It's human nature. People want to talk to each other about different things. But the thing is, when the companies get involved and start firing people based on opinions, then there's going to be serious issues. And we've seen that. I mean, we've seen a large portion of the fan base rally behind Gina. And when Hasbro stopped selling Gina action figures, the prices of the existing ones skyrocketed. Everyone's support behind her has skyrocketed, and it's all coming to the forefront. But everyone who's supporting Gina is also being attacked, not by people that disagree with our opinions, but the actual companies and showrunners. I mean, the perfect example of what happened to Star Wars Theory, when what's Pablo Hidalgo came after Theory. Everyone was like, okay, some people going after Theory, loads of people in Theory's defense, but it's been happening for ages, and it's the people high up that have decisions within the company that are getting involved, and that's when disaster starts to happen.
Yeah, I do agree with people. Disney is are hypocrites. They are hypocrites because, look, I'm not saying Disney's not wrong here, but what I'm saying is that we have to look at it. Look at the bigger picture here, right? She shouldn't have done what she done, or the actresses, and Disney shouldn't have done what they done either. They shouldn't be taking sides. Disney is supposed to be, they're supposed to separate the politics, and I think it's the same with actors and actresses. They have to separate the politics from the shows that they're working on, but they don't, and it's getting ridiculous. And we're in this situation where, yeah, she got fired, and it won't be the first firing either now. This, with Gina being fired now, the left are gonna see this now, and it'll be someone else now. They'll target. Actually, Rosario Dawson is the next person on their list. Actually, I've seen a tweet. Someone actually wrote Rosario Dawson next after Gina Carano was officially fired. So they're already turning their sights onto another person now, because obviously they didn't like her playing what's her name? What was her name again? Was I'm not a Star Wars fan. Who did Rosanna that? Who did she play? The one with
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka, yeah. So they're going after her now because obviously she wasn't the right skin color or something at the time. Isn't that what they were complaining about?
No, so, it's because there was an accusation that went to court that her and her parents had a trans housemate or tenant or whatever,
right?
Who used to do odd jobs in their garden or something, and then apparently, according to the tenant or the worker and tenant, that they physically assaulted him when they came out as trans, and apparently this turned out to be a complete lie, and they even admitted that it had been made up, and of course nothing happened to them for that. But yeah, I mean, but it didn't matter whether or not it was true. The mob decided it didn't matter. It was true anyway in their own minds. It didn't matter if there's a smell, then there's shit. So that is it. They don't need a reason. This is crazy, but that's the way it is. That's the mindset.
It's actually funny, even when something's proven in black and white to them.
Yeah, guilty by
no, that's
association. Guilty by proclamation. That's the way it is.
There. So this is what Mr. Hyde thinks. All Disney needs to do is put a warning at the beginning of The Mandalorian. The views of the actors do not represent the views of the company. If they offend you, LOL. They used to, didn't they? If I remember correctly, at the end of a movie, if you read the small writing, they used to say, oh, no, it was for the DVD extras. Do you remember? They'd say the views of the actors and the actresses don't necessarily represent the company. But you are right. They probably will need to start doing that. Because
something needs to happen, because I mean, obviously this can't go on as it is. And
no,
I mean, the fact we even call it cancel culture means it's already been allowed to continue too long.
Yeah.
So it really does seem to me to be something that needs serious addressing. The root.
Yeah.
But I think social media platforms, or publishers, as I like to call them, need to address this seriously as well. They've been allowed to ferment and let this grow without taking any action. Why? Well, we know why, but I mean, they need to be forced to by law. And unfortunately, at the moment, I don't see that happening. I think, if anything, they're going to become more empowered under this current administration.
Yeah. So Club even said, yes, disclaimers like that used to be commonplace. Exactly, they used to be. I don't know. They did start disappearing, but they used to do something like that. But again, though, it does get into, do actors and actresses have a right to have, political opinions and stuff like that, and air them on?
Well, in America, they have laws, don't they?
And people will argue the point, because they're like every other person out there, but. They do have a platform, and the thing about it is that some of them use that platform. So I think, yes, something really does need to be done. And the companies like Disney, I will say this: if you're gonna sack Gina Carano, well then. You must go.
You either sack them all, or you don't sack any of them.
Exactly, or you don't sack any of them. Exactly, and you back them. And that's the only point I'm trying to make.
We saw that they had the writer of the New Republic, making extraordinary, very casually racist comments about white people, and she was publicly supported by Disney and Lucasfilm. But when Gina Carano was being harassed for month after month after month by a bunch of people demanding her head, basically, they did nothing.
I know that. Yeah, and you're right. They should have. They should have come out and defended her when they came out and defended your woman, saying they weren't going to tolerate racism and bullying, and they allowed the behaviour to go on, even if they didn't agree with Gina Carano's political beliefs. They should have said something that bullying and harassment is not tolerated in the Star Wars fandom, but they didn't. And it's the same in our fandom, Lee. You see it with Doctor Who. You don't see BBC or anybody connected to Doctor Who call these fans out that give us the abuse and come out.
They just give them interviews and give them jobs. Exactly. And, it's outrageous. It really is. And it's a bad optic. And I think, again, I'll raise the point. I think it would work in their interest. I mean, I don't think they're that interested in quashing it, because I think that they tacitly agree with what these crazy activists that they hire say. They seem to encourage it. They protect them. Well, what I would like to see is maybe some legislation or something which forces companies like that to insist that their employees, I mean, like, if someone works at McDonald's, you're not going to have an employee going on Twitter slagging off the company without repercussions. So, and as a film extra, when I signed an agreement to shut my fucking mouth,
non-disclosure, isn't it?
Non-disclosure agreement, you keep your mouth shut. So why can't they extend that to their main cast to say, you are under a non-disclosure agreement, that includes non-disclosure of your political views whilst you're working for our company. End of. It makes sense to me. I mean, far be it from me to try and quash their own personal rights to speak their mind freely, but you have a reputation of the company you're working for as a high-profile person who is, an extension of that company. Really, you're sort of the front person for that company, so you have to protect that brand. You, as an actor, also have to protect your brand. Maybe it just seems to require a bit of common sense, which I know is not.
I just want to say good night to Charlotte there.
Charlotte. Good night, Charlotte, mate.
Good night, Charlotte, and enjoy the lie-ins. Yeah, lucky sad. I'm only messing. They have a lie-in, so I can't really say. But I say the people that are still working with are gonna say you lucky sad. So we'll see you tomorrow anyway. Absolutely fantastic. Go ahead there, Lee. Anyway.
I was just saying, if you're representing a company, and you start shouting your mouth off, companies tend to frown on that kind of thing usually, but it seems Hollywood seems to encourage it. But I think if they were forced to adopt the same sort of attitude that most other companies in the public sector, for example, you can't say something provocative or say anything negative or controversial, because, I mean, as I said, if you're working in any other sector and you start saying crazy shit, political stuff that is controversial, your boss is going to call you in the next day and say, sorry, you represent the company. It's like remember when you were at school and you wear a school uniform, like the school will tell you, whilst you're wearing the school uniform, you've got to behave in public because you represent the school, right? So if anything bad happens, it looks bad on us, and then you'll get kicked out, and that seems to be something that tends to work. You've got a bit of brand loyalty from your staff, for that's what they are, really. You can't just go off on a kilter and be a loose cannon like that. But that has to work across the board, and it has to be seen as an equalizer. So you can't sort of prefer one activist thing over another. You can't be seen to have favoritism or to concur with any particular idea. And it will work in that company's best interest, because if you don't allow this very partisan politics to show the political colors of a particular brand or company, whatever, then you're not going to cut off half your customer base, because once you do that, you've cut all your potential profits in half. Yeah, it's stupid. Anyway,
we've got Nerdaholics in the chat. Welcome, and we got Jamie as well in the chat. Also, welcome, guys. It's nice to see you here. I'm just throwing up some of the old comments there. But I did hear a story actually that apparently Jon Favreau, I don't know if it's true now, but apparently he was very angry because apparently this was done over his head. But then I did hear another report where someone was saying that he actually didn't stand in the way of it this time, because isn't John Favreau, he's got Jewish descent or something. So apparently that was another report I heard. So I don't know if Kathleen Kennedy did, though. I will say, well, she got what she wanted anyway, because she clearly doesn't like Gina or anybody that's a fan favorite of Star Wars. She seems to want she seems to want to get rid of everybody that.
She's jealous of the success of The Mandalorian.
Yeah,
there's no two ways about it.
Someone brought up James Gunn in the chat, and that is a very valid point to make as well. James Gunn should have remained fired.
Yeah, and he's come back on Twitter, and he was celebrating the fact that she got cancelled, even after he'd been cancelled by Twitter himself.
Yeah.
And then he's seen cozying up to the Mary Sue magazine, and it's just so God.
That's what they do.
Schrodinger's arsehole.
Listen, he nearly lost his career, right? Nearly lost because he did. I seen the tweets. He shouldn't have been tweeting shit like that. It's scumbag anyway, right? But then, like, he gets fired. He gets a second chance, right? Gets to come back. And then, as Lee has rightly pointed out, then he was gloating, and now he is.
He should learn to shut his fucking mouth.
Very soon is the biggest fan. So do you know what? He knows what he's doing now. He's on those side now because he knows now he'll never be cancelled again. Well,
right. Talk about a weather vane.
Using him, and then they'll cancel him again. See, what these morons don't realise is that these people will use them, right? And then as soon as they serve their purpose, they will discard them like last week's trash, and they'll cancel them all. James Gunn will be cancelled again.
No doubt. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I'm more than convinced by that, to be honest.
I thought he wasn't.
This unfair play. Sorry, go on.
I thought he wasn't officially fired in the first place. As far as I'm aware, everything came out that he was. But officially, according to Disney's standpoint, he was never fired. Disney never put out an official statement or anything.
Well, they kept that on the lowdown. I think
that was very low down. Yeah, they let everyone scream about it on Twitter. Everyone make their own articles, but like deep down, they kept very quiet about the whole situation. And he was never fired in the first place.
Yeah,
listen, Disney is shady, right? Right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Gina Carano, we go back only a couple of weeks back. An article was dropped. Some of the young stars of Disney came out and said that Disney was very abusive, got them to sign all these extortionate contracts. Right? They filmed Mulan beside a concentration camp. Right? We also know their history from back in the day with all their Nazi propaganda and stuff, their cartoons and all of that. Right? Movies like Song of the South and stuff like that, right? So Disney has a past, right? If see, this is what's annoying me about all of this cancel Disney Plus. I think you've all had plenty of opportunities to give up Disney over the years, and nobody did. I mean, we're about the time when that little young fella, what was his name? His second name was Jones. I forget the little kid's name. But he was a huge Spider-Man fan. Yeah? And Dad wanted to put Spider-Man on his headstone. Do you remember?
I remember that, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember we were all outraged then? We were all saying, cancel Disney. Boycott Disney. What happened? Nobody cancelled Disney. Nobody boycotted Disney because everybody kept continuing to talk about it. And this is what's going to happen this time around as well. Disney has over 95 million paid subscribers, right? This little boycott or whatever it is not even going to dent them. I'm sorry, but it's not. You can try send out a message. Disney has clearly chosen which side they're on. So now it's up to you as a consumer. Do you continue to watch Disney or do you really give up Disney? But here's the thing. Disney, it's not just Disney. They own Touchdown Pictures. They own an 80% stake in Hulu. They own GoPro. They have stakes in many other companies. They own the Alien franchise. They own hundreds of franchises, right? So he will literally be watching nothing if he's give up Disney, right? They own ABC. I checked it out. I checked everything that they own.
I did tell you, didn't I? I said that they own so many.
Yeah,
there are about 4 or 5 companies in the world that own 99% of all the sort of products and companies in the world. I mean, and Disney is one of them.
Yeah, and unfortunately, look, it's all well and good. Look, this is what I'd say to you all. I said it to you already. I don't see the point in you cancelling Disney, right? I'm not going to tell you either way whether you should or you shouldn't. I will leave that to the individual person, right? But if you think you're gonna do damage to Disney, I mean, the pandemic has caused damage, but they're still afloat. This is not going to tip them over the edge. I'm sorry. There's a lot of listen, and you'll see all the hypocrites come out. And I'm not going to hide behind it. You know I'm out straight. You will see all the hypocrites come out. They'll review WandaVision. They'll review the Vulcan and the Winter Soldier. Then they'll review the Mandalorian. But they'll tell you that they're not watching it on Disney Plus or someone else got it for them. There'll be an excuse, but they're still watching them. They're still highlighting Disney on their channels. So if they're going to say, let's boycott Disney or let's cancel Disney Plus, well then, should it not be a total blackout? Stop talking about Disney on your channel.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Yeah.
Right? Stop following their social media. Stop buying the merch. Stop reviewing the shows. That's what a boycott means. Yeah. Right? But nobody will do that. And that's why I told you out straight. I'm not getting rid of Disney Plus. Right? I'm not getting rid of it. I'm sorry. I'm not getting rid of it because I think this is futile, to be quite honest with you. You know, well, I know Disney are a pain in the hole. We know that, right? But they're not going to change anytime soon. Something will break. There will be something, and Lee will agree with me here. There's always one thing that happens that changes the whole course of history, and something will happen. Trust me, this can't go on any longer. We're getting to a tipping point now. So we're either gonna go down a rabbit hole or we're gonna get out of this whole situation. But this cannot carry on. Gina Carano is only the start. If they start canceling actors and actresses, that's it. Someone will take a stand. Maybe it is Gina Carano, but I doubt it's her, to be quite honest with you. I don't think she has she might have the fandom menace behind her, but I'm sorry. She's not as popular as she thinks she is. Baby Yoda was more popular than her. Even Ted Cruz's tweet kind of pissed me off, like saying that she was the star of the show. No, she wasn't. I'm sorry. Gina Carano was great in the show, but that she was not the star of the show. No way was she the star of the show. Baby Yoda was the fucking star of the show. So I hate the way that, again, all I'll just say to you is this. It's just, look, this won't last forever. But right now, Disney is not going to change their mind. So, I mean, good luck with the boycott. The thing about it is you literally have to give up everything that you watch because they have a stake in everything. They have a stake in almost everything. So, if you are all real about a boycott, well, then you'll be watching fan stuff or you'll be watching YouTube. Because there'll be nothing that you will be
pretty much what I do anyway.
Right.
To be honest.
So it's up to you ourselves.
So, Ash, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say I disagree with the bit where you say don't talk about it, because if you're calling for a boycott, in my opinion, it just be stop paying for their services, and if you just stop talking about it outright, then no one would know to not watch their stuff. So I think it's important to keep talking about this sort of thing. And yes, we want to sort of bring down the House of Mouse, but like you said, there's not much that the fandom menace can do because we are small. Actual hardcore fans are just a portion of the paying customer. A lot of them are normies. But this outrage did have a small impact. We had very large parties on the level of Joe Rogan, Tim Pool, talking about this situation. Disney's stock price even fell by a couple of dollars per share. If I can't remember who said it on Twitter, but basically, if half of Gina's fans cancel their Disney Plus subscription, that would be a $56 million net loss. So it's enough to make them notice what's going on, but we're never going to make an actual dent. We can vote with our wallet by not paying for Disney Plus subscriptions. And if you want to do that, I mean, all power to you, go ahead. I mean, but for me personally, it's like I said on Clobbering stream yesterday, I'm not going to be cancelling my subscription because of what the value that Disney Plus has to me personally.
Exactly. I think people forget as well, though, and you make a good point. Disney has been in all our lives. Let's be honest. Even me growing up as a kid, I've always had Disney in my lives, and we do love Disney movies. I mean, well, my favorite movies of all time, some of them are Disney movies. I mean, we've all grown up with them. Listen, they've made their bed right now. Disney will change because at the end of the day, right, this is not viable, right? Financially, it will not last, right? They can't continue down this path. Something will give and they'll revert back like BBC with Doctor Who. It's going to happen. All of these, this is what the radical left don't realize, and the ones that are calling for all of this crap and the cancelization. You don't realize it will revert back because it's not. It won't make Disney the money that. I mean, look at the sequel trilogy. It should have made a lot more money than it actually made, right? Mm-hmm. So it's already affecting revenue. So they know they can't go on down this path for too much longer. But right now they're holding firm. Give it another year or two, and I reckon you'll start to see a slow but sure there'll be a change because it cannot go on any further. We have Matt joining us. So what I'll do is I'll bring Matt on with us, actually. So there's 4 of us on. And we've got Babbitt in the chat as well. Welcome, Babbitt. Nice to see you.
Hello, Babbitt. Babbitt Bombshell.
Babbitt, I should say. Sorry, how was the algorithm? Just wanted to ask you, is the algorithm doing okay? These YouTube still picking on you? Hey, Matt, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, Noel. Nice to finally meet you sort of face-to-face.
Not a problem, man. Loving the setup, I have to say. You got the mic going there and the headset.
Yeah. I've just had to set up. I'm going to do the Spacebook tonight. So,
excellent.
Yeah. So
on there again.
Oh yes. It's been a long time coming, but got lots to talk about too. So.
We'll share some of that here with us.
I was just going to say, at the back, I can see the Joker behind you.
Proper
yes.
Poster. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a John Byrne version.
Yeah. Nice one. Is there anything in particular you want to talk? Do you want to get involved in this conversation, or do you want to talk about something different?
Yes, if I could talk to you about, I just wanted to bring you up on your topic about Disney Plus.
Right. Go ahead.
Now, I was incensed when they cancelled Gina Carano, and quite frankly, I just instantly wanted to cancel my Disney Plus. I can't because I'm on an annual subscription. It's actually cheaper to buy it annually, so that's At the time, I think Mandalorian's a good purchase. You got all these Marvel shows coming up, and there's just nothing. I really, really want to cancel it and get my money back, but you can't do that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And that's another thing is that you just you're stuck with it.
So it's either more like a contract than anything like.
Yeah, and like you are stuck with it. You cannot get out of it. You're going to have it until And unfortunately, I got it when it first came out, so that was in about November, and and so they're doing all this stuff early on, so I'm stuck with it for another 9 months, 10 months. So Unfortunately, I think you should you should be exactly like you are, Noel. If you're gonna say you're gonna cancel it, then cancel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so but at the moment, I'm stuck with it.
Yeah.
Have you contacted them to ask them about?
Well, they're really they're funny with that. They really
Yeah,
are, and it's the fact
I
is,
bet they are.
I'm not going to
Sharon-
give them any more money.
Yeah, exactly.
They've already taken it.
Yeah.
They've already taken my money.
They cancel it monthly, but they don't cancel it annually. They cancel it monthly, but not annually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's where they get them. Sky's the saying though. They get you. They always get you some way. But when the year subscription, Matt, I have to ask you this though. When the year subscription runs out, how long have you got left? I want to ask you first, because then I'll ask.
Well,
the question I want to ask.
I actually joined up in November, like when it first came out. In Australia, we got it released the same a week after America. And so I joined up because of Baby Yoda. I mean, how can you say no to that? And, I just... Sorry, no?
So the question I was going to ask you is this. So you've got until November now. Do you think you'll calm down by then? And do you think you might renew your subscription? Or are you still serious about getting rid of Disney? And if you are getting rid of Disney, can I ask you, have you any kids in the house? And how will they feel if you got rid of Disney?
No, it's all me, and I'll tell you what. As soon as it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I've had it with Disney. I've had it with their crap. I've had it with their Star Wars. I've had it with everything.
That's the point, isn't it? It's not just this Gina Carano. I think this was the last straw for a lot of people. You had so many other incidents, and I think there's only so many times you can keep being told you're not welcome before you actually take it seriously and go, fine, you don't like me as a person and you don't want my money then. I mean, it's only so much people can take. Fans have been bashed.
I have... Can I just say, I also have a lot of friends on Facebook that are artists and have worked for Disney. And a lot of them are very, very... well, I don't know what the other one is. What's the other one besides Republican?
Democrat.
I don't really understand their system, but they just got straight onto the train, attacked Gina Carano for this horrible, horrible post. I looked at it and I went, "What the hell are you talking about?" And I said, I actually pointed out to him. I said, "Are you just saying this for a political thing?" Or because no, she really compares everybody to Nazis, and I'm like, and then they turn around and they go, oh, and also she does.
Ironic though, isn't it?
We believe she's with the Republican Party, and I'm like, hang on a minute, you've just totally contradicted yourselves. And so to me, they've lost favor with me. I know that the fact is that they want to work, and that's fine. They can suck up Disney's ass as much as they want. But sorry for swearing, no. But it's just the fact that this is my first time. But I've had it. I really, really had it, and I just this has been going on for months. And in fact, years now.
Yeah,
and
I agree. It's been that's what it is. It's been the combination of a lot of things, I think, now with fans. But I have to ask you this and play the devil's advocate, right? Should people like Jon Favreau though and say Dave Filoni be punished for what Disney is doing? I mean, they're obviously created a show like The Mandalorian that you do love, and you have said that you love. I think we all do. I'm a fan of Mando, I have to say. And who doesn't love Baby Yoda? You're spot on about that as well. But they did give us something that fans did get behind. We did get that Luke Skywalker.
Simple answer to that. Don't work for Disney. Go and do your own thing. We'll follow that. And you'll probably make more money.
I think to a degree, I mean, they should have a backbone. They should come out and actually say, we respect what Gina says. We don't see that she's said anything wrong. it only seems to be the people that have, gotten on this wagon of Twitter and totally and utterly abused the hell out of her. And that to me was disgusting. And they really should be held account for that. And Disney is pandering to them. And it's point blank, that's what they're doing. And it's like, stuff this person's ideology, what they think. They need to think like us. And I've had enough of it.
Yeah.
So, anybody else on the panel that Lee? Do you have Disney Plus?
No.
Okay, and of course you have Disney. You're gonna stick with your subscription, yeah?
Yes, I'm going to stick with my subscription because I'm very young. I'm only 21, and I've for most of my life, like half my life, all my teens, I've grown up with the MCU, and so I have a vested interest in all the upcoming Disney shows like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision and that sort of thing. But me personally, I also like wanting to learn about the history of the shows, where they came from in the comics. And there's all the entire catalog of all the old shows on Disney Plus. So I eventually want to get through those and watch the original stuff. So that's sort of why I want to stick with Disney Plus. It has a lot of value to me personally. I completely understand why everyone that is going to cancel, that you want to cancel it, and the more power to you. Vote with your wallet. But just me personally, I'm going to still stick with my subscription.
Yeah, I think it's a personal choice.
Yeah.
And unlike the inverted commas other side, we don't force people to do our bidding.
That's it. I think you should just make up your own mind. I mean,
Exactly.
we've got 2 people on the panel. Well, 3 of us that have Disney Plus. 2 of us have decided to keep it, and Matt, of course, has decided not to, and he's given his reasons, and they're very good. And I agree. Listen, I do agree. Disney is shitty, man. It is, but I don't know.
I'm of the thinking, like, if I'm paying for this, you know, and I don't want to give them any more money. I don't. And it's the same. I've gotten rid of other streaming services that have, produced shows that are so woke. And I'm like, no, this isn't the sort of content that I want, and I'm not paying for it. You pay up to about 15 Australian dollars, a month for them. And it's just, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You just have it in the background and you're not even watching any of the shows because they're not worth watching, pretty much. So, I just decided, no, okay, I will be getting rid of Disney Plus unless she's reinstated, but she's not going to be reinstated.
No.
They'll reinstate. And this is what gets me. James Gunn, he turns around and he says, oh, yes, he actually liked something that was, a comment about Gina Carano. And I'm like, you were in exactly the same position, but you got out of it because your friends backed you up.
Yeah.
And that's
the one
exactly
thing that actually annoyed me about this is that none of the cast came out this time to defend her. Carl Weathers has come out a couple of times and called her a lovely lady. That was his way of showing her support. But even he has kind of remained silent. Pedro, of course, himself, you would think because of the experience he had, he would have been the first one to actually come out and say.
Well, didn't someone actually said to me on Twitter, or not said to me, but I can't remember if it was atted at me or if I saw it somewhere. But someone said, "Ha ha ha," even Pedro Pascal's unfriended her or something.
What an ego! What an ego! Seriously,
if that's true, I don't know if that's true, but I mean,
no, but I mean, seriously, what an ego he has, and the fact that he thinks that he is, above reproach, just and that's another reason why I'm getting rid of it.
Well, I have noticed something while everything has been going shitty for Gina, everything's been going perfectly for him. He was
Oh no! On the same day, like she got kicked out, and then he gets a new job as well.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, okay.
On one of the shittiest video game bloody horrible things that they've ever had. You know, Last of Us 2. I don't know if you're aware of.
Yeah. I played the fourth game, and
I smashed.
Played the second.
I love the first game. I know, and then you just go, "What the hell is this shit?"
Well, that film's gonna bomb anyway.
I'm
gonna watch it.
As soon as they go into the gaming community and they start talking about the sexist behavior of certain people and blah 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 blah, that's when you knew it was over for the game. The gaming industry is gone the same way. It's actually
everything.
Rockstar are the most criticized because they don't do politically correct games. You know, they don't mind, you know, women being beat.
The only thing that's going to be left, you know, unwoke until they manage to get their tentacles over there is Japanese stuff. You know, like until the Japanese kowtow to the demands of these white, blue-haired, crazy liberal types. You know, well, I say liberal, they're illiberal, but I mean, you know, that's going to be the only way that people are going to be able to import any kind of culturally non-PC stuff is by getting it from other countries. You know, somehow it's going to be like a black market of bloody, you know, shows from Eastern Europe or Japan or, you know, somewhere untouched by the shitty bullshit that we've had to endure here in the West. So who knows? You know, it's just going to be crazy. I think the only real solution though is for independent creators to do stuff. You know, YouTube, whilst it's still relatively, you know, accessible by pretty much everyone, until that goes very much one way, or another platform arises where people can share, you know, independent created stuff, then you know, I think it's the only thing that's left at this point, really.
Well, here, Jamie brings up one because there is another cancellation in progress at the moment with Joss Wheaton. So apparently, more female cast members of the previous shows that he have done have come out. Now, what's interesting though is when I read the comments from your man that played Giles, and I read the comments from your man that played Spike. And they said they had no knowledge of it. And and you know what? Here's the thing, right? But if he's this serious, and I'm not saying that he hasn't done anything, I don't know all the information. The stuff might come out later on and prove that he is. But for right now, what I do is I don't judge someone on without any evidence. So they're guilty they're innocent until proven guilty. Okay, so with that in mind, I will say this: the lads are saying they didn't see anything. Now, I find it hard to believe that if you're a serial abuser, that it wouldn't come out while those lads were there. You mean to tell me you wait until the lads and all the men went off the set and then start bullying all these?
Well, this comes out
coming out and saying that he did. They're saying they had no idea of it. So, what gives?
Well, this comes out the other week, and this today, Justin Timberlake came out with an apology to Britney Spears and Janet Jackson for, you know, what he did, and it's very interesting timing. I think, you know, it's like wait, that was 15 years ago. Now you want to apologize now? Oh wait, oh well, you know, because Joss Whedon and, you know, all this other stuff. So I mean, who else next? Who else is going to come up? Oh, I'm sorry. Hands up. You know, come out the building.
Seriously,
hands up.
He apologized for Nipplegate, even though he went around at the time, did loads of interviews with Janet Jackson, looking all real sad and apologizing for it. You mean to tell me he came out and apologized for it again?
Yeah.
Right, he's a twat. Get away.
It's just like, oh god, this is just cringe. Can we just, like, I don't know.
No, he is. He's
just have an armistice where, like, everyone comes clean and then it's dealt with, right? Like, done. Like, or just, you know, look. I mean, it seems to me if you look at someone wrong now, you know, you'll be, you know, cancelled. But the thing, the Joss Whedon thing, I think it's I can't even say I got also in my tongue. Relatively, there does seem to be a few of the cast from that time coming out saying stuff, and what was explained was, you know, the fat shaming when she was pregnant, and you know, threatening to kill her career off if she didn't, you know, and saying to her when she was pregnant, "Are you going to keep it?" I mean, if that's true, that is some serious level shit. You know, that is nasty stuff.
It is, and he should be going for it. But right now,
it's he said, she said. You know, and that's the thing. You know, I always have and it's a court of public opinion. She went public on Twitter. She made a conscientious decision to go on Twitter to say all this stuff. Now, I don't think that's the right place to go, frankly, unless you really want to damage someone's career. And have everything in a court of public opinion, which is a very divisive move. Now, if it was serious and stuff like that, maybe if you want to bring that out, write a book. Like people used to write books, didn't they? And exposés in their biographies and stuff like that. That, you know, that for me, I think is you can give much more information. You can make a bit of cash out of it as well. That's another thing. But you know, that's how people used to do things. But with Twitter, it's so instant. No one really digests the information fully and properly. It's all reaction, and it's like overnight, isn't it? Instantaneous. And I think that there are better ways of going about it. I understand if this did happen to you and it's taken you this long to say it, and it's been brewing for so long, and you want to get it out there, and you need to feel that you can say this finally. I understand, but you're running the risk of it backfiring, because we've seen it happen before. And I'm not saying that she should have anything backfire on her if this is all true, but again, that's the divisive nature of Twitter. Everyone's got a fucking opinion, right? So I just think there are better ways to go about it.
One other thing I found, Lee, is that everybody wants to know your business.
Yeah,
they want to know your religion. They want to know where you come from. I had someone on the other day on Twitter ask me if I was really indigenous to this country of Australia, and they said, "Oh, were you just born here?" And I'm like, "What's it to do with you?" And so I gave them a nice little thing, and I said, "Thank you for asking me that question, but I don't really give a shit."
It's you know, sanctimonious behaviour, and sanctimonious the key word that I use.
Entitled.
It's entitlement. It's moral superiority. It's snobbery, basically, and they feel, as you say, entitled. I had this on Twitter earlier. I had someone joining in from, so I had this argument with that, what's her name? Ren Famous, whatever her name is, and accused me of white knighting, and then all her white knights turned up and she fucked off, and typical, right? Projection. And one of them, with a cat as their picture, started butting in, and it was over the Gina Carano post, and it was just like, and I told them, I had this, tit for tit, and they were like, "Oh, well, explain to me then why this and that and the other." And I said, "Well, go through my tweets and you'll find my reason why I think the things I do." "Oh, so you can't tell me, so therefore you're full of shit, but whatever." And I said, and then I said, "Yeah, whatever, knock yourself out." And they said, "You're a white supremacist." I said, "Okay." And I said, "Right, so I'm a Jew who's a white supremacist. Great optics." And then they disappeared because they realized, because I hadn't bothered to read, as I said, to go and check my post to explain, because I didn't want to have to repeat myself over and over and over again, like I'd already done 1,000 times already today. And I was quite honest about it. Just go, I can't be bothered dealing with another intellectual pissant. Go and check it yourself. because they didn't. If they had done, they would have seen. You know, I had a particular view on this, not because I'm pro concentration camps, because I have a little bit of fucking, you know, connection to that, because I lost half my lineage to Nazis because my family back then were annihilated, apart from my mother's parents.
And you shouldn't have to explain that.
And I shouldn't have to explain, exactly. So I said, go and read my tweets. But no, you know, too much work for them.
By the way, I can confirm that Pedro and Gina are still following each other.
Okay, so another thing they do, they lie. These people bloody lie.
So I just wanted to get that straight, because, you know, I don't want, you know, at the end of the day, people are saying that they're wrong.
So I'm only reporting what I was told
about
by
following each other still. So he hasn't blocked her, and he hasn't stopped following her, and she hasn't stopped following him either. So, you know, I don't.
Well, that's heartening.
Look, maybe privately he is saying, you know what I mean, but she just decided, you know, to do it her way, you know. So, like, you never know. Privately, they're probably all texting her, and, you know, you know.
I bet she's had texts or phone calls from people saying, "No, I'd really love to speak up, but, you know, I can't because, you know, they'll come after me." You know, that kind of shit will go on, you know. Or, "You were very brave when you said that, because I couldn't say that." You know, a lot of that shit goes on, you know.
Well, you see, if she does start something, we'll see if there's any other actors and actresses out there now that actually have the guts to do what she's
Well,
done.
I think a lot more conservative actors, whatever, should all come out and just say, "Look, you know what? Enough of this bullshit." Look, I'm not partisan. You know, I've been left all my life and voted Conservative only once in my life, and yet I still get called this. And the only reason I support Conservative voices is because I see what's happening to them, and I think it's wrong, and that's why I stand up for them. And
I am actually.
Go on.
Sorry, Lee. I am actually friends with actors that have Republican views, and they've not hidden from the fact. They've done major films, and they just pretty much have lost their careers and are doing mostly independent films now. Because the fact is that when you get blacklisted, you get blacklisted. There's no coming back from that.
Yeah, well, that's why Hollywood needs to be trashed, you know, and an alternative needs to be set up where independent filmmakers can start, and then maybe start off as a cottage industry, and then you build it up. And, you know, that's how Hollywood started. So why not have a, you know, alternative Hollywood? You know, and there are people willing to pay for it. There are people willing to back it. You know, they've got to stop being afraid, because why the hell should you live in fear simply because you disagree with a bunch of fucking fringe lunatics? It doesn't make sense to me. I know it's listen, I understand if it's high stakes with money and personal liberty and freedom, you know, not wanting to be attacked online or even physically in the streets, but it's got to start somewhere. This is how tyranny starts. And that's exactly what Gina Carano was saying with her tweet. Exactly that. And the fact that they cancelled her for that, and the fact that they came after her like the way they did, only proved her correct. And that can't be missed upon people. That is beyond irony at this point. And I think that, you know,
she's
the
never
only way to stand up is to say no more. God.
She's never ever came out as a Republican.
Well, now she's with Ben Shapiro on this thing. I mean, maybe it's a Jew thing. I don't know. But you know, she's now obviously come out, and she's already said that she now feels freer than she's ever felt. So maybe this was the thing that needed to happen. Maybe it's a good thing for her, actually. Who knows? Silence.
No, I'm just seeing Doomcock says he has new information on Gina Carano's situation on Friday Night Frolics.
He did put out a video stating a few things, and basically his sources were saying that all the higher ups were shocked by what's currently happening and the fan support, and that initially they were going to fire Gina Carano after their quarterly earnings call, so they can have their good rapport from the investors. They don't have to answer tough questions about Gina's firing, but someone but yeah, because allegedly this is just rumors, someone leaked the information so they could help save Gina's career. Obviously they still went ahead with the firing, but now all this happened before the investor call, so I'm guessing I can only imagine how that investor call went.
I actually believe that she got sacked a couple of months ago.
Well, yeah, I mean, this thing didn't, in 24 hours didn't happen just like that. This would have been set in motion ages ago. It would have been set in motion ages ago. She wouldn't know.
November, I think. I think she was already sacked in November.
Well, there was a sorry, Noel. There was a thing that you posted actually of the money being taped across the across the mouth.
Yeah.
And I picked up on that too before you posted that, and I knew then that she was in deep shit.
Yeah, I think she already knew her time was up, and I think that's why she's probably, put out the tweet because she knew she was already gone. But we'll see now what happens over the next few days, and so see if it settles down, see if anything else comes out. But it's going to be very. Has Jon Favreau or anybody made any official?
All quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah. He's got a show to produce.
Yeah, look.
Well, there is
that's the problem. Too many necks on the line.
Fired, and it was Kathleen Kennedy, because apparently she's jealous of the Mandalorian or something to that effect. Definitely. And she wanted to ruin it. She wanted to basically, because he was nearly finished the scripts, and she knew then that Gina would have to be written out of the scripts, therefore basically fecking up what Jon Favreau wanted to do with Star Wars. Now, whether that's true or not, if that is Kathleen Kennedy, if that's what she has done to screw him over, you have to say well played.
You know what'll be a kick in the teeth though, Noel?
What?
If they kill her off.
Oh yeah, which I hope they don't. But
no, but
they will.
Yeah, and the fact is that they had a story arc for her that they were building, and you could see that.
And they were going to set up her own show, weren't they?
I believe so. Yeah.
I believe she was going to get that show, and then I just think Disney lost the battle.
They'll probably put the idea for that other show on the back burner and just say that her character has just gone off to join the rebellion and leave her character at that, and doing that sort of thing. That's how they'll probably keep her out of the main Mandalorian show.
They've got a couple of years, haven't they, before... I mean, they put the show on hiatus to focus on the Boba Fett series, didn't they? As another kind of chapter, and then they'll go back to the Mandalorian. I think that was the plan. So
it was planned, but it was confusing as hell, especially when they released it. It was like, what is this, a show? Is this the next chapter of the Mandalorian? And I think they've just made an absolute fuck up of it all. And and there's no coming back from this for me. I mean, this is a huge kick in the teeth for someone who loved the Mandalorian. I bought all the merchandise. And so I couldn't get a Cara Dune doll. They just they were so hard to get, and now they're even harder apparently.
Yeah, they are. They've kind of quadrupled in price, some of them, and stuff. But
to literally wipe someone off like that, their complete character, just to completely erase them from
that's the thing. They could have just said, we're not renewing our contract. We've got no plans to renew the contract, and we wish her well, something like that. But no, they had to go. Her tweets were abhorrent, so even besmirching her character more. And I'm sorry,
you got to love the fact
the kind of shit I saw. Sorry, the kind of shit I saw. I mean, I've got screenshots that Data Racer had made
Yeah, I've
of
seen
all
that,
the abuse that she
of the
received.
abuse that she did get.
And I think that's enough. Thank you very much, Disney. You know, we don't need your input on this.
You got to love the fact that the spokesperson that actually said those comments didn't put their name to it.
No.
Yeah. Interesting, that, isn't it? Very interesting.
No, because it was probably one of Kathleen Kennedy's henchmen or some lackeys, and basically said, "You're making the announcement."
Well, that shows how much of a coward she is.
I'm kicking you out on your ear. So some poor little fucker went out and said, "Listen, I've got something to tell you. Gina Carano's for it. Tell everybody."
It didn't even seem like a proper press release.
No.
It seemed leaked. You know, like more than any, or
a phone conversation.
How I heard about it was through one of the gloaters on Twitter. Then I went and checked it, and the only thing there was a couple of article headlines, and you know that was it. There was nothing I could see in any official
coming out fighting with people saying it was fake, right?
Yeah.
So I seen that first. A lot of people were getting very nasty, saying, "Oh no, she's staying. She's not fired. Get away! You're spreading lies." I says, "But you don't know. You know, wait for a second." And then, like when everybody started reporting, because you were right, it was one or two articles at first, and then they start gathering speed. But listen, the thing about it is that announcement did seem strange, and I'll tell you why it seems strange. It's because I already believed the decision had already been made, like as Matt has said months ago. And this is why they don't really care that it's leaked now. You know what I mean? So
well, I think they care because it seemed to come out just before their shareholders meeting.
And it wasn't. Maybe maybe the person that did it wasn't trying to save Gina Carano's career at all. Maybe it was to kind of, because they were going to the shareholders and stuff, you know, to kind of put them on the back foot when they went in there, or something to try to disrupt them. I don't think it had anything to do with Gina Carano, to be quite honest with you. I think someone within Disney tried to sabotage them because they knew they had a very important meeting, and the Gina Carano situation was the perfect one for them to use. Remember, there's a lot of politics going on behind the scenes as well. You never know. Jon Favreau could have got someone to leak this. So, you know what I mean? Think about it. He could have, to make sure, you know, so there's a backlash and to try get Gina back because the decision was made behind his back. He probably got someone to leak it. You never know.
Hey, producers have done it in the past.
Exactly.
I'm thinking of JNT, but there you go.
In fairness, I know it's a long shot. But his silence is kind of telling as well. Why hasn't he said that? You know, Pedro hadn't said that all day today or yesterday, but he's just at the putting up a tweet 15 minutes ago. So he's active again. But the rest of them haven't. So it is. There's something going on. And maybe there was a ploy. Somehow leak this. Maybe get the fans behind Gina. Might get them to change their mind. But I'm being honest with you. I have to be the one to tell you it's never going to happen. She's not going to be reinstated. Once Disney make their decision, that's it. It's done. It's done. They're not going to change their mind. The only way they'll change their mind is if they get seriously hit financially. And I just don't see enough fans because remember, right, it's not just about the fans. There's 95 million paid subscribers. They're normies as well.
You got to remember too, a lot of them are annual ones too.
Yeah, and they're normies as well. And they're normies. Remember, there's not 95 million Star Wars fans subscribed to Disney Plus, right? So there's the normies as well, and they're the ones that are going to keep. They don't care about any drama that's going on Twitter. Maybe most of them are not even on Twitter, so they're not going to cancel Disney Plus. So this is why you're going to have a hard time putting a serious dent in Disney.
Well, you just only have to look at the, Doctor Who, BBC throwing money away. It's lost half its audience. It's gone down the toilet. Everyone's talking about how much they hate it, but it's still being produced. Let it go on regardless. I mean,
didn't they just lose China as well? Didn't they just lose China as well for their news, the BBC News?
BBC, yeah.
Yeah, fake news.
Now, I did go to my sources actually.
From China, that's hilarious.
I wanted to find out, would that affect the deal that Doctor Who has in place? So this is what I've been told. It wouldn't affect the deal that they've already got in place, but it could affect any future deals that BBC Doctor Who wants to make. So if they want to show the show, they could come into some problems after the deal that they currently have runs out. There could be a problem. Now, if that does happen, BBC is in trouble because they're relying on other people's money. This is why they're selling off Doctor Who to all these different streaming services to get the money in. And I think HBO Max also, by the sounds of things, Chris Chibnall's being told that the next Doctor has to be a man. And by by what we've been hearing, maybe HBO Max have flexed their arm and basically said, listen, well, if we're fronting money up, we want you to change the Doctor back to a man. So hopefully they demand Chris Chibnall gone as well, because that would be absolutely brilliant.
Well, that's the perfect thing, you know. I mean, it's we can sit here and criticize Jodie's portrayal as much as we like, but it's not going to change the writing. I mean, fair enough, you know, she's been given what she's got and she's been told to read the script, you know. That is not a responsible producer, you know, at all. And the writing is guff. It's pure guff. And, you know, look, we understand the politics are at the BBC, but do we really need it in everybody's story? You know, even the political stories in the classic era were, you know, wedged between other things. And it wasn't a platform. It was, as Rabbi mentioned in a previous stream, you know, it wasn't a platform. It was science fiction and a jolly romp through time and space. You know, it was fun. And there were a lot of very liberal politics in that, but it wasn't too preachy and it wasn't so, you know, one-sided. It wasn't a lecture.
See, I have to say something about the whole Jodie thing. When I first discovered Noel and the Tardis zone and everything, just before then, I'm friends with a lot of people who seem to be for the left. So I was reading a lot of posts and everything saying, oh, Jodie, isn't she doing a fantastic job? Isn't she, you know, all this? And I'm like looking at it, I'm going, good on her. I haven't seen one episode of Jodie, and I never even watched the final Peter Capaldi episode, because as far as I was concerned, I'm done. I'm just like, no, I was done with it. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. So her first story did really well in the ratings and everything. And I'm like, oh, okay, good on her. Not really interested anymore.
Well,
and
no,
then,
I mean, that's the problem. It's not anger anymore. It's apathy. No. And once the apathy sets in, listen, people like, you know, over the Disney thing were angry. And they were angry and, you know, they were going to cancel. And then obviously, like, things changed and they didn't cancel, whatever, as Noel said earlier. But I think that can only go so far. And you can trade off anger and passion for so long. But when it gets to apathy, there is no coming back from that.
No. And see, when you see that all the time, you're like, well, obviously people are loving the show and good on them, you know. But I was like, it's not for me, you know. I liked Doctor Who. I could see where it was heading, but I stuck with it. But I thought, you know what? I think that this might be the time for me to end it and just see what happens behind the scenes, you know, afterwards, and see how it goes. And then I might go back into it, you know. And so I was listening to all this feedback, how wonderful it was and everything. And then this whole thing with, you know, the fugitive, the Jejune and all that sort of thing. And I was incensed because I was like, they're rewriting history.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, you just can't do that. And so I started a search, and I found Noel, I found, you know, Nerdrotics, I found, you know, all these people that were like, this is a shit show. And I'm like, what? You know, I'm like, it's really a shit show? You know, I've only seen positive things. And so, you know, suddenly I found all these people that were of similar mind that, you know, and they'd actually watched the thing, you know. So, and I felt really sorry for him at first.
Thanks.
I don't feel sorry for myself now because if I put myself through that torture, I deserve it.
Yeah, but I was like, I'm glad I didn't. But you know, it's been fantastic to find all these people that are of similar mind suddenly, you know, and so you know,
well, that's how I felt after being told to die of cancer and to get out of the fandom multiple times simply for daring to criticize the show. It was really refreshing.
Yeah.
I mean, I left all of the Doctor Who Facebook groups and all of the rest of it. I just closed it all down and walked away. And then I just went on YouTube and I found Nerdrotic and then Bolstrek and a few others. And, that's how it is. And this obviously Tardis.
I recently commented. I just happened to comment on my Twitter. I didn't comment on anyone's thing. I think I retweeted a tweet. And I just said about season 24, the Blu-ray. I asked a question. I just said, look, I love Sylvester McCoy. I've met him. He's a wonderful guy, you know. And I love the series of when he was in it. But I said, why season 24? And the person who tweeted the tweet actually commented. But suddenly I had this mob of his followers just come on to me straight away. And I couldn't believe it. But the first thing they said was, "You're a Jodie Whittaker hater." And I'm like, where did you get that from? Because I've not put anything out really to say.
And who cares if you are, for fuck's sake?
But
get over it.
What's it got to do with the Blu-ray release of Sylvester McCoy?
Oh, the fanatics, like really bad.
And and so that's my my sort of induction into the really seedy world of Twitter, because actually
welcome to our
very
world.
lucky. Thanks. I'm really enjoying it.
Now you got a slice of what we put up with on a regular basis.
Yeah. No, I understand, and it's just the fact that I see what Noel has to put up with all the time, constantly, and I'm like, oh, you poor bastard.
Yeah.
So, but it's the thing. You're gonna criticize. Put your name to it. Don't hide behind an avatar. Don't hide. That this is my thinking anyway. If you're gonna say something, say it. But just don't. Say that you don't believe in what other people are thinking and be rude about it.
I just wish I could understand and accept that. Hey. The world is a very complex place. It's got over 6 billion people on it, and or 7 billion, I guess now. Amazingly, not everyone's going to think exactly the same as you.
We're not all going to agree, are we?
Right, and how boring a world would it be? So just get over it. Accept that. You're going to come across people you don't like, or people that you disagree with and you don't like what they say or how they word things or what they appear to think. But you're not going to change that. You can't change the world by slamming people every which way but loose because you can't tolerate it. Well, tough.
Yeah.
This is the real world. Get over it. Deal with it. Move on. Mature a bit, and then come back and have a conversation.
It's like
devils. Come and talk to us. If you don't understand why we think the way we think, ask us.
Yeah.
Have a conversation about it.
I saw a tweet of a priest who was 86 years old, and he made a comment on his own Twitter, and someone just attacked him straight away. And I said, "You realise you're attacking an 86-year-old priest?" And they said, "I don't care who he is."
Oh, the arrogance, the utter arrogance.
And I said, well, just settle down and be a lot nicer. And oh my God, did that go out of all of a sudden?
No, because they're young, they're entitled. Because they're born in the millennial or whatever. They think they're special. They've been told they're special their entire life. Big fucking newsflash, you ain't.
What I found was that they commented once, and then all of a sudden their mob attacked me.
Yeah, that's how they operate. They're like piranhas.
Yeah, very much so. It's very interesting too, to see this the
That's
psychological.
How weak they are. Listen, they've had look. They set up. I'm not going to say literal. I refuse. But they set up an account on Twitter. Over 2,000 people. 2,000. And I can't say all of them come after Noel, but a large swathe of them do. And you know what? That's how they need to operate, because they're so weak. They need strength in numbers, and really then they couldn't take Noel down. I find that fucking hilarious. I really do.
Noel, you're a strong fella, I tell you.
Well, I tell you, all I'd say about that is the parents should have used precautions, or maybe swallowed. Maybe we wouldn't have this situation.
Yeah, but then they would have died of toxic shock.
I wish they'd done it with that Greta Thunberg.
God. Miserable cow. Sorry.
She's off again lately.
That was the best thing about COVID, was the fact that all of a sudden it was like, squirrel. They went straight to another direction of, oh no, we're in a pandemic, and they forgot all about her. And she's like, hey, over here.
I'm important. You told me I'm important.
Yeah, well, we don't need you.
How dare you?
We haven't been doing all the shit that we need to do because the world has been in the pandemic.
And you know what? She's 18 now, so you can.
And the world has healed a little bit, so you can go back to Sweden or Norway, wherever you're from, and go back to school, love, and leave the adults sort out the environment. Yeah, that's our job. Your job is to be educated, so when you grow up, then you can take over. You don't take over now.
Educated doesn't mean what it used to mean these days. That's for damn sure.
Unfortunately, yeah.
I've actually heard about people, kids. They want kids to re-educate their parents.
Yeah.
That's another.
What the hell is that all about? It's like, hang on a minute.
The cult of the youth. It's the cult of youth. That's what it is.
Yeah, I'd love them to try re-educate me. Yeah.
Tell
you what, I'll volunteer. I'll volunteer. Tell you what, you can put me in a room, and if you can actually re-educate me and turn me left, then good luck to this. Right? I'll give you all day. Right? You won't break me. Right? I'll have you crying into me.
I actually wonder what would happen if you started pandering to them, Noel. Like you started saying, "Hey, this is."
No, well,
I've readjusted.
Let's do a social experiment.
Well, here,
yeah.
I'll give you a laugh. Not that I did, right? But my opinions about the latest festive special, wearing the skating, as me reviews have been, because it was actually better than what he gave us. But believe it or not, right? They were actually confused that I came out and praised it in some parts. They were so confused that they were actually saying, I don't know how to feel about this. Right?
Maybe they should stop liking it.
Well, look, we even got worse. Some people say, well, I hated it. And the only reason why they're saying they hated it is because they knew I liked some elements of it. So I can't win either way.
I mean, they're so weak-willed. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's too late. They won't accept me as one of their own. Like, they'll accept a fella that writes pedophilic jokes on Twitter or wherever it was and rehire him. You know what I mean? But like a person like me, no, they'll never accept me. You joking? No. Sure, I'll have them all crying anyway. Put me in a room with them all. I'll re-educate them all, alright. They'll be all re-educated.
Actually, that works. I've found that works. Because as soon as they turn around and they have a go at you, and you turn around and you go, hey, I'm not this person. You obviously don't know me, but I can find out who you are. I actually have the wherefore-all to find out where you live. So, just watch out. And suddenly they'll back off. I found that.
I never really used that tactic because I don't really
I don't want to either, but it's just the fact that, sometimes they are so horrible people. They are really horrible people and will not back off. And so I've found that tactic has worked for me, at least. Probably not so much now that I've revealed it.
Cabbages anyway. Wouldn't be listening to them. They're a bunch of cabbages. Really.
You know what happens to cabbages?
What's
We
that?
boil them.
That's it. That's it. Well, listen, look, they're spent force in this fandom. They're spent force in all the fandoms that are in. They're a vile, and they are, and I'm sorry, but they are. They're a vile cult that's only aim is to bully long-term fans and kick them out of the fandom. And the reason why they keep targeting people like myself and Lee is because, and yourself, is because we refuse to leave this fandom. Now, unfortunately, a few of our friends, their friends, have left and made that choice. And that's fair enough, but I refuse to be kicked out of a fandom that I've been in basically all my life. So no way are these kids gonna tell me that this fandom is not my fandom. This fandom is not your fandom. We invited you guys and remember that. Remember that you're supposed to treat it with respect. Yes, I will say yous also deserve to be treated with respect. But remember this: respect is earned. So you get treated the way you treat other people. So if you treat people with respect, you'll be treated the same way. If you disrespect people and do what you do, well then I'm sorry. You know, I've always been in the firm believer. If these people come after you, you have every right to defend yourself. But of course, you come out and defend yourself, and what happens? You're the victim, remember. But all of a sudden now, in this world that we live in, victims are bullies, and the bullies are the ones that are the victims, right? Because as soon as there was one particular person, Lee brought up the hate account, but we know who's behind that account. But that particular person, right? We've seen all the vile stuff that he's been coming out with. But yeah, he wrote up to his few of his friends that he's being picked on by me and a couple of others, and he had the whole fandom backing him up, right? Bullies play the victim, and they're getting away with it all the time. And but their time in this fandom is coming to an end. Jodie Whittaker is gone, right? When she's gone, and they've nothing because she was the female doctor, so she was the one they were focusing on, right? They're gonna have less of a voice when the female doctor is gone, and they know that. This is why they're lashing out now. And if it goes back to a man, I'll be laughing. Oh, do you know what? I'll do a stream and I'll just be for the whole stream. I'm just gonna laugh through the whole stream because I know they'll be all crying into their cornflakes. And you know what? That'll be a great day. Get out a big stogie, light it up, and celebrate that yous are all crying because yous will deserve it. For 3.5 years, you've treated this fandom with disrespect. You've bullied some people out of this fandom that will never return. And I tell you guys, our time is coming to an end in this fandom. I truly believe it. And the tide is turning. We're starting to see our true colours now. So keep doing what you are doing. Show your true colours. Come out and keep going on with your man hate. Keep doing all the stuff that you're doing. We'll keep reporting on it. Keep highlighting it. And then eventually BBC will see it and they'll see the kind of twat that they pander to. And hopefully they get the cop on to not make the same mistakes that they made in the past. Your time will come to an end, though. We'll make sure of it. Done with
See,
these.
I'm all for giving people, like what they want. But when you start pissing all over it and then handing it back afterwards, and you're like, there you go, and you're like, I ain't taking that back, And I mean, they go, oh, canon isn't really, proper canon in Doctor Who and everything like that, and it can change and everything like that. And it's like, you don't do something like that to an extent where you rewrite the entire history. And that seems to be happening in real life too, as far as, they're rewriting history to suit them, to suit, how they perceive the world. And so, I'm done with it. I'm really, really done with it. And so that's the reason why I want to speak out now,
Yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, look, you can only be pushed so far by all these companies, and everybody's going to reach their breaking point. And you can see that's people out there, definitely in the Star Wars fandom. A lot of them have reached that point. It is sad. We shouldn't even be here. But look, as I said, I don't really see this continuing. I say 2 more years, I reckon, of this crap, and then it'll slowly start phasing out. I don't think we're going to get this for the next 5, 6. If we get this for the next 5, 6, 7 years, we're done. Then hit TV and movies as we know them, the industry will be destroyed. And I think that is the plan of the left. I just hope that these guys in Hollywood, BBC, and all these others start copping on and start, saying, oh, hold on for a minute. We're actually ruining ourselves here. We need to fucking get back to do what we do best. And that's put out great entertainment. Because BBC used to do it. Disney used to do it. Yes, they'd have the odd fucking thing that was crap. But Disney on the majority always threw out some great content. And the same with BBC. They don't anymore. It's all rubbish, watered down. Actually, James Dreyfus did an article about comedy. Would comedians get away with the job? Would comedians? That's what he was. The article was basically about why there's not many comedies on TV anymore. It's because the current environment that we're in, most of these comedians will be cancelled. So look at what John Bishop said something 5, 6 years ago. And these knobheads decided to drag it up and say, oh, he's a lesbophobe. He hates lesbians. Because he told a few jokes about lesbians and women. He hates women and he hates lesbians. Cop on to yourselves, right? Comedians tell jokes that we wouldn't normally tell, right? That's why they're funny. Okay? It's just as simple as that. If you don't like that, well, then don't watch comedians. Okay? If you want to live a boring life, yeah, you want everything to be a certain way, well, then you go and do that somewhere else. Let the rest of us enjoy our comedy, our sci-fi, and all of that other stuff that puts a smile on their faces. And you go and live the miserable existence that you all want. You's bunch of fucking sheep. Every single one of you is sawdust for brains. You all want to be the same. Like Cybermen. You will all stagnate. You will go nowhere. The human race will cease to exist in a couple of 100 years' time if we continue down this path. Because we'd be all the same. We'd be dull. We'll die out as a species. I know you refuse to die out, right? And I refuse after I die to let the human race, because we have great potential. But right now we're letting knobheads tell us what to do. And
see, the thing is, they seem to think that we all think the same.
We don't.
As them. No. But they do. They seem to think that, this is abhorrent. This is, I recently I said something about Gina Carano, and someone commented that, and they were a rainbow warrior, and they literally said, she likened people to Nazis, and she said, she's had a go at the Jewish community. I pretty much turned around and I said, and she's saying, oh, she hates Jews and everything like that, and I'm like, that's not what she wrote. And I said, have you met my friend Rabbi? And Rabbi actually came in and said, I totally disagree with what you said. And I'd like to talk to you about it. And they just went dead silent because they knew that, nobody thinks that the way that they do,
Of course. But
if they do,
one person that stayed silent with Rabbi would go off to a different tread, Matt, and then start the same rhetoric again. But because, that person wouldn't be able to answer back like the way Rabbi would, they'd continue with this rhetoric. No, she is racist. She compared the blah, blah, blah to Nazis and she did keep it up. Even after, like, someone that from the community tells them, listen, she's not racist. She's not anti-Semitic and all of this. It goes in one ear, mate, right? And it goes out the other. Do you know why? Because there's nothing in between there. There's nothing in between there to keep the information in, because it's hollow, or maybe it's got sawdust for brain. I don't know what it is, but they're the most unintelligent bunch of people that have come across all of these fans. Or they're not even fans. Don't even call them fans. They're just weirdos, right?
I think they just want to change the world to their own image,
Yeah, they do. Someone actually put up a post saying, yeah, this is we're going to have our paradise. And everybody that doesn't agree with what we want to do, well, we'll want to basically get
And the
the hell
funny
out.
thing is, the Germans said that 80 years ago.
You know, I know, and I wouldn't be surprised if they start demanding that were killed off. Listen, I've seen 2 videos today that disgust me. A postman, some old lady was on the deck. The postman goes, "I'm knackered, I can't pick you up," and leaves the old lady there. Right? When we get older, you see the way they treat us on social media. You see the way they treat old people in general. We're fucked. We're fucked, right? Because they have no respect. I mean, Lee even mentioned they went after an 85-year-old on Twitter. They had to say, "You do know you're going after an 85-year-old priest or 87, whatever."
I said that because
Yeah, and they
I
said, "I don't
literally,
care," and they said they don't care, right?
yeah.
That's because they have absolutely zero respect for the older generation. They don't. They have no respect for us whatsoever. They believe we're the problem. And what did the Nazis do when they had a problem? That's exactly what they want to do. They want to do the same thing. They want to try, modify our behavior, do all of this. And if we don't conform, then we're ostracized, we're attacked, and God knows how far these people will actually go. I've even heard people on Twitter say we should kill all the male babies that are born because who needs another bastard in the world? I've seen posts like that by feminists, radical feminists out there. I've seen
Yeah,
all of this.
I've there was a thing recently, about a year ago in Australia, where there's a thing called Q&A, which is very similar to, I think there's a UK version as well. And so they get government officials and everything like that in, and they decided to have an all-female panel. And one of the panelists, who's a staunch feminist, turned around and said that, yes, we should kill all men when they're babies. And no one spoke up. No one.
No.
And she was an American, but this is the fact that she can say those things. But if a man or someone else said something like that, we'd be vilified right on the spot.
Well,
and they'd throw him out of the studio.
Well, listen, if it was a man that said it, yeah, he'd be handcuffed and he'd be bloody thrown into a police car. But yeah, I mean, look, there's been a few incidents over the years. Sharon Osbourne did an interview. It was interesting as well. I think it was your man that did the Gillette ad. Do you remember he did his parody? Because remember there was that Gillette ad where all the black guys in the ad were great, but all the white
Oh,
guys.
yes.
Well, there was some fella that did a parody version of that, and he shows interviews Sharon Osbourne basically saying, "Yeah, we should have got a clippers to his penis and chopped it off." So it's all right for her to say stuff like that, and for them to say stuff about men like that. But when we go and do it, or men go and do it, straight away, career's gone, this, that, and you lose everything, the lively. It's ridiculous. They talk about equality. There is none. There is none. And there never will be until these lunatics are stopped in their tracks.
And, I find Australian media to be very unbalanced as
Yeah.
well, very much like the BBC, even like our ABC. The fact that they're similar in the way that UK is, where they have a government that they just don't like. And so, they try to, rather than being impartial, they're just not. And so, they attack them at any turn they possibly can. And to me, that's just that shouldn't be how society works.
No,
To me, that's propaganda.
Yeah. All news media outlets are supposed to be, they're supposed to be balanced. It's supposed to be, but listen, you're supposed to give a balanced view. News media stopped doing that for a long time, decades now, but it's gotten worse these last few years, especially when the former president was in office. Obviously, that's when the madness truly doubled, because 2016 is where we start seeing it a lot with Ghostbusters. Obviously, they did that movie. That's when we start seeing all this rhetoric and all women can do this and women can do that.
I was so into that. I was so into that Ghostbusters movie. I was so looking forward to it. And then that trailer dropped, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, what? And then all of a sudden they're having a go at men because we didn't like it. And that was my awakening, was that there's just something not right, you know.
Actually, Leslie Jones just recently came out as well, last year, and she's still giving out about it. Like, get over it, love. Nobody likes your movie. It was shit. But let's get in, because we haven't. Lee, you still there as well? Has Lee left us?
Yeah, sorry, I'm here. I was trying to find a lighter to work.
No.
Yeah.
But does any of you guys on the panel want to add on to what myself and Matt were talking about there?
Not really. I think you guys covered the main points quite well, actually.
I mean, I can't see how we just can't all get along.
Well, because they don't fucking want to. You know, they're supremacists. You know,
I just want
they're authoritarian, tyrannical, absolutist, essentialist, crazy people who are politically obsessed and possessed by an ideology that simply doesn't have a place or a space for anyone but themselves.
Why can't we just all get along, sit down and watch Sister Act together and sing, oh,
sing Goodbye fucking R, yeah.
Right? I mean, come on. I think we're mature enough as a society to get where we actually want to get, to the places where we want to get to. And if we're talking about equality, well, then it must be equality. Everybody must not feel anyway oppressed, or that their opinions or whatever are not. Listen, everybody's entitled to an opinion. Remember that has never changed, right? To us, obviously, to the other side, that's a dirty word, because you know you can't have freedom of speech, you can't have independent thought. But if you want true equality, well, then that's what must happen. Everybody, we must revert back. Listen, I don't even think we were far off 10 years back. I think this whole mess here
set us back a decade or two, or 3 or 10.
Back. Yes, I think we were close. To be quite honest, there was a lot of.
Yeah, it would have put too many people out of business, and it wouldn't make people feel special enough. So they had to create division in order to elevate themselves. That's all it is.
Yeah. So, because I honestly do believe that we were close enough, and now this has, and it's a shame. It's a shame because this is, remember as well, okay, there's people fighting on social media or whatever, but remember this as well, there's probably kids fighting with their parents now, because, you know, they're being taught one thing, their parents believe in another thing, and it's probably causing division at home, at home as well. It's actually sad.
Yeah, all on purpose, because they hate the nuclear family. They want to destroy that, and they want to replace it with identity groups, so that you know, it will be a peer-run thing where only people of a certain identity can learn and be around other people of the same identity, and you know, get parents removed from them, so they don't have any influence anymore. So they get further indoctrinated into these cults. And it is a cult, you know, and I don't know. I mean, it can only last so long before, you know, this goes badly. I think it's inevitable, you know.
Here's one for you, right? I've got one. I'm actually going to annoy all the radical feminists now. You ready for this? Here's a joke for you, right? So a blonde and brunette jump out of a plane. Now, we obviously both have parachutes. Right, but which one will get down first? Which one will hit the ground first? The brunette, because halfway down the blonde will ask for directions.
God. That's it. You're
cancelled. Oh my god!
Oh no!
A bit of a shitty.
Get out of here! Get a cop on.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. There you go. Now you can cancel me because I told an old-fashioned sexist joke.
Yeah, you're evil now. That's it.
Yeah,
You're
I'm an
finished.
evil white man now for that. Yeah.
Well, I think you were an evil white man before then, to be fair. According to all the rules of engagement, you know.
Yeah. What do you call a three-legged donkey?
Go
A wonky.
on. Oh, jeez.
No. Yeah, they're stupid ones. They're little fucking.
Now we know why they make.
Cheryl,
Now
stop
we know-
buying Christmas crackers, right? Because those jokes are running old.
Now we know why they make jokes about Irish people.
No, that was funny. 801 years now.
I actually did see a good Irish joke on an Irish group that was actually slagging an Irish man, but there was a blonde in the joke as well, and it was actually very funny because you think the joke is going to be slagging off the blonde, but it actually wasn't. It was slagging off the two Irish lads. The blonde was actually smart in this joke. Yeah.
Oh, subverting expectations.
Patience.
Yeah, I mean, I saw an article today that the BBC current year has now, over a period of time, but it's actually now worked out that the BBC has now produced over 40% less comedy on its service. I think that's really interesting because it's like, well, think about it. If they were producing as much comedy as they were in let's say the 80s and 90s, they run more risk in 2021 or 2020, whenever this was done, run more risk of offending people, because comedy by its very nature is about offending people, right? I mean, that's where the humor lies. And because these people have no sense of humor, the BBC has produced less comedy. I find that so depressing. Incredibly depressing. The BBC used to produce the greatest comedy shows in the world.
True.
And now I can't even pinpoint one in the last 10 years that I think was even remotely funny.
Boys is a good comedy. Where else have they done? They've done The Cans, which was a family from Pakistan.
I didn't find that funny. I like Goodness Gracious Me. That was great, but I didn't like I thought that was a spin-off, wasn't it? From that?
Yeah, and they did bring back the Vicar of Dimby, but that was that went woke.
Yeah, it's just like woke comedy isn't funny. I've tried to sit down and watch woke stand-up, right? I urge everyone at least try it once. I just sat there stone faced. It's so contrived, and it's not off the cuff. It's not paced. It's just very self-aware and smug, and it offers absolutely nothing because there's no humor in playing it safe, right? You look back at the great comics, Lenny Bruce, who got arrested back in the 60s or 50s and 60s for saying the F word or being lewd, right? Bill Hicks, George Carlin, even Billy Connolly, very edgy stuff, very offensive in many ways, but we could all laugh at because no one was off the table. Everything was on the table. Nothing was safe, right? And that's the great thing about things like South Park and things like that, because they attacked everybody, everything. And I think that's fair. That's fair game. And bad ideas are ripe for comedy, and that's why, we need more comics and more comedians doing it. And it's sad that it's these comics who are still edgy will never be on TV anymore because they will be deemed too risky, and that's a damn shame. And then you look at wankers like Frankie Boyle, who made a career out of the most edgiest fucking envelope pushing, really quite nasty comedy. And now he's sitting there all sanctimonious on his show, and he's got all these woke comedians on who just, make jokes about, white people, evil white people. Oh yes, oh men, aren't they? And look at my race, look at my skin, aren't I superior? And it's really weird, and I don't think that's a redress of balance. I just think that's It's not even self-effacing. It's just nasty and mean-spirited without any of the humor. It's just mean.
See, to me, but like we recently had an Australian, she was a producer, but she's also a comedian, and she's a feminist lesbian. And I wouldn't mind that so much, except when she goes straight up to get her acceptance speech for an Emmy or whatever, she just talks. As soon as she gets on the podium, she attacks men. She just has a go at men. Why? You've just won an award. Why did you have a go at it? To me, that's more of an attack than a joke.
Yeah,
and
it's got a very snide, dark kind of bitterness to it. I mean, humor is supposed to be about jokes, right? It's about making people laugh, not feeling really uncomfortable, and that's what it's. It's a very sideswipey kind of thing, and it's very disingenuous and it's overt. I mean, look, political comedy can be absolutely. I used to love Alexei Sayle, right?
Yeah,
and he was a fucking communist, and I found him hilarious. I found lots of left wing because they were the counterculture. Now they're the mainstream. And they still think they can be edgy when they're the mainstream. It doesn't work. They've become the very thing that needs to be toppled, right? They're the very thing that needs a counter. And they're too stupid to realize it. And left-wing comics used to be fucking sharp and really, really on the ball, really funny. And now you see these people, and they've got these comfortable TV shows on the BBC and sold out years ago. And they are the establishment, and they don't realize that you need to be challenged. Otherwise you become so stale, and they have become stale. And for me, I can't abide it. And I just find it really strange that we're living in a world increasingly devoid of public consumption of comedy. Comedy used to be the new rock and roll. Remember? Now it's like lounge music, Muzak in the lift, that kind of.
I mean, in the 80s and 90s, and that Australian television was just full of BBC content, and they would repeat, constantly. Are You Being Served? And all these sort of shows. Oh, I do too. But good luck trying to find it nowadays. The only chance you can get is if it's on a streaming service or something like that. But, it's just the fact that if something was good, they'd repeat it. Nowadays, they don't. They just go on to the next thing and on to the next thing, and it's probably looks similar to what's already been shown, And so I literally have stopped watching all Australian terrestrial television.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
well, not Australian, but BBC, ITV.
No, I understand that, and I just watch streaming, and I mean, I pay for the service. I don't do any of this piracy stuff. I used to, but I don't anymore because I felt like if you're going to give us good content, I'll pay for it. I'm more than happy to,
Yeah.
But now, as soon as I don't get good content, I'm not going to pay for it. And that's why, with this thing I'm hearing about, the BBC and the like, we don't pay a license for our television. We haven't done it since the 50s or like early 60s. Like, it's we just watch terrestrial television. We don't have to pay for it at all, and that's the weird thing I find in this day and age is that you guys still have to pay a license fee. And but
not for much longer.
You don't have a choice. You don't really have a choice as far as if you don't pay it, you're sort of like they sort of treat you like you're a thief. So I find that if I like the content, I'm more than willing to pay for it. But there's no way in hell I would pay for something on the BBC nowadays. And I'm just glad that we don't have to do it here.
Yeah. I would pay, even if I was forced to, I wouldn't pay. I'd rather go to prison. Wouldn't pay for anything that they throw out. I mean, they're programming. Listen, I don't watch BBC anymore. I used to.
Yeah.
Used to be a fan of. Used to be a fan. Go ahead.
Yeah. Can I ask? I don't quite get the whole British thing, but in Australia we actually pay the government we pay the government, and the government pays the ABC to run. Okay, so they get a certain amount of money per year. I don't know. Does the BBC receive any money from the British government at all? Funding? Yep.
They get like a budget, but I mean, what the BBC used to do against their own charter, may I add, so unlawfully or illegally, depending on the definition, they were getting money from the EU.
Yeah.
And which, when you look at their coverage of the whole European question, it was so obviously biased.
Of course it was.
And it was because, not only were they, on board politically with that anyway, but they were receiving huge sums of money from the EU coffers under the radar. And, the fact that was against their own charter, against their own thing, it is a betrayal, really, of the British people, who are paying hand over fist when they can barely afford to pay this bloody TV license, when it's already kind of bought and paid for by the crooks in the EU.
See, I want to know, with the ABC, with our Australian Broadcasting Corporation, which is virtually a copy of BBC, is that when they get they're not allowed to receive any revenue from any other source at all. They solely get stuff from the Australian government. They get money from the Australian government. That's it. And they're always complaining about how much their budget was this year, But what I want to know is that they have things like YouTube and other things that they broadcast, and there are adverts and everything like that. I'm wanting to know where that money's going, for the revenue. And so I've noticed with the BBC too, whether or not, they would be receiving it as well, the revenue.
YouTube, if they set up a YouTube channel, YouTube is getting that money. And remember one thing, they put out that Dalek animation thing, and people were saying, oh, if BBC gave it just for free. No, it was monetized. So BBC was making money every time you are watching it.
Yeah, because you've got to bear in mind the BBC is not just one corporation. You got the publicly funded BBC, the BBC main, whatever it is, and then you've got BBC Studios, which is the privately, it's a
commercial arm.
Commercial, that's the word, commercial arm. And then you've got BBC Worldwide and BBC America. Again, they're commercial entities. So that's still tied in with the branding and everything, but they are sort of the commercial arm. So there's the main BBC sort of umbrella company, which is the publicly funded. It's all very smoke and mirrors, really. I mean, it's
sure, it's only recently come out that the British public might be actually funding BBC America with the TV license fee.
Yeah, that would be terribly wrong. I don't know if that's true, but nothing surprises me anymore. So who knows? But
defund the BBC site. They put up an article, and they're saying that your TV license might be paying for BBC America.
Yeah,
so
we need to find out whether that's
as you said. But there you go. It doesn't seem to be stopping them.
Well, no, and I think that's look. If you've got a commercial arm of the BBC here, you've got a commercial arm of the BBC there, you've got a commercial arm of the BBC. What the fuck is wrong with making the central fucking spider of the web a commercial arm? A commercial body, I guess, I mean, you've got everything else being a commercial arm. They sell DVDs and all the rest of that and other products and toys and whatnot. So why do we need to fund that when everything else is commercial?
Because they think in some weird twisted way, by keeping the public, they believe that that's the way the British public wants, because that's the way BBC has always been, to serve the British public. But I don't think
that stopped.
They don't.
That stopped. Sorry, that stopped when they stopped being. That stopped when they were receiving money from the EU.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, all pretense of impartiality and all this other thing and doing it for the good of the nation. bullshit. Yeah, that was over, right? Over. And I think that that veil, it has slid now. That mask has fallen off, and the British public can see it for what it is. And because of things like the internet, because of things like defund the BBC, and because of the shit that they're churning out, and all the shit that happened over Brexit, that people just went, whoa, wait, what's going on here? Look it up, see stuff, and go, wait. So the BBC has been lying to me all this time, and I've been paying them this money every month for being lied to and being manipulated and being lectured at. Fuck that shit. You know, that's it. Done. And, you know, I think it takes a level of that kind of thing to happen for people on the mass scale, you know, the normies, you know, all the rest of it. And then even turning the pensioners against them by making them pay for a TV license, which was, you know, their pension that's paid for all this shit already. You know, they've been paying in all their lives, for crying out loud. And it's supposed to be at retirement age, you're supposed to get the license fee for free. But no, because people have been wising up, and, you know, defund the BBC has become successful. And then people are fed up with it. So what do? Oh, let's get some more money out of those old duffers. They can afford it. They're not working. They're sitting at home all day, and they've got all this excess cash that's sitting around. Like, my grandmother was not one of them. I'm sorry. I'm glad she wasn't around to have to pay it. It's this mean spirited, and it really proves that they think that they are so better than everybody else. They are our superiors. They're there to be our moral leaders, our teachers. And that they look down on us as scum. They really do. And this is the general consensus in Britain, that the BBC does not represent them, that they have a complete loathing for the working class. They hate the elderly, and all they care about is the youth, who don't watch the fucking BBC on the vast numbers anyway, because that's just never been the demographic. So I don't know what the fuck they're saying.
Where's their accountability?
Well, their accountability is we don't give a fuck. You will take what we put out. You can complain about it all you like. We'll send you a nice snotty email saying, we understand that you perceive it to be this, but we're actually doing this. Suck it up. Basically, that's the kind of it, because they actually think they are our betters, and that's it. You know, they're there to teach us a lesson. And you know, and the old adage of anti-BBC couldn't be any more truer. Really can't be any more truer. But the thing is, she's a cruel auntie. You know, maybe one of the ugly sisters. You know, I just think that people have now got so much choice, right? And they're already paying for this subscription, that subscription, this subscription. What the fuck do they need it for? Especially once, I mean, look, if the BBC was still producing quality stuff like they did in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, people will still love the BBC. People will still be paying for it, or want to pay for it, and be happy to pay for it. But now, that is no longer the case. The BBC is no longer the standard for quality on a budget, right? Because we always knew it was on a budget, and that's what we loved about it, that they could be so creative on a shoestring budget. That, you know, the stories, the writing, the actors that they got, the talent that they had was world class, and they managed to make it great because of the restrictions. I had to focus on great stories and actors and all the rest of it. But that's no longer the case. You know, they've aligned themselves with this very odd branch of political ideology, which is the in vogue thing. Hopefully not for much longer, and it's producing substandard stuff that they can't sell anywhere. I mean, Doctor Who went from being on the world's biggest streaming service, Netflix, and then moved to the much smaller HBO, and I think that was a matter of who the fuck would want it. So, you know, I
is that in the US?
All right, we'll have it. Yeah.
Was that in the US?
Yeah. And it's over. The party for the BBC, it's been a good, 90 years, 100 years, whatever. It's nearly You know, it's over.
Good run.
Wasn't it? I'm just trying to remember back, but when Doctor Who was first released back in the reboot in 2005, was it?
Yeah.
Was that on BBC America? Because didn't they end up they couldn't show it on BBC America or something like that, which is I find odd to me. You know, people in America couldn't actually watch the new series.
I think it was BBC America, or it may have been on Netflix.
Because I think Sci-Fi picked it up.
No, it wasn't on BBC America, Lee.
Wasn't it? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar.
But like America got it like a year later, and that was on Sci-Fi. So you know, there was obviously some problems there as well. You know, as far as the BBC America just.
Well, that's the thing as well. BBC America, even though it's got the brand name, it's a corporation pretty much isolated. It's on its own. It's its own thing. It's like a franchise, I guess, in a way. So if you want to, let's say, have a show on the BBC America have to buy it. You know, it's not like, oh, let's just ship it over there. They need it tomorrow. It's like, no, they have to arrange contracts and they have to arrange the payment, and you know, it's its own entity. So you know, I guess, you know, they have a license or contracting where they, you know, trade off of that, and you know, it's kind of like, as I said, it's like a franchise, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, lad. Go ahead, finish your point there, Matt.
No, fair enough. Just the fact that I was just wondering whether or not the BBC America has much input into the latest, you know, couple of series or not.
No,
you know,
I don't think so. If anyone will do, it would be, you know, HBO or something like that, or the Chinese probably, you know, dictating what they can and cannot put in there.
I think BBC America can give suggestions, but when it comes to that now, that's all they can do, really. Yeah,
I don't think they have.
Probably would have more of welly with BBC, because
I don't think it has any input, because simply the ratings for Doctor Who in America are what, less than 300,000, something like that.
Maybe they are now. Yeah, they were 600,000, but they've halved. Yeah.
I think all the decisions for Doctor Who stem purely from BBC Studios.
Yeah, well, they need to start making the right ones, or we'll be.
But they can't find anyone to take the job to be the head of BBC Studios, because no one wants to take the job for that money, and they smell blood in the water. They smell that the BBC is going down. Nobody is interested. Nobody's applying for it. Nobody wants the job because it's a shit show, right? The whole thing is on the precipice. No one's going to look at that job and think long-term security, and especially that they can't compete with the wages that go with that level of responsibility. And it's a pipe dream. The BBC is careering off a cliff, and they're completely fucking aloof to everything that's going on. I mean, at least on the surface, God knows what's going on behind the scenes. But look, as I said, party over. Nice few decades with you. Loved your stuff. We got a ton of old shit that we love. Got BritBox. Thanks for BritBox. I don't mind paying for that because it's quality. I pay for quality, but I'm not paying for crap.
Yeah, I agree. I think everybody will start doing that, though. If quality dips, then they will unsub these apps and stream.
I bet more people will start watching BritBox than they will BBC One, if they're not already.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, mate, at this point. But listen, we could go on all night. We've been going, 3 hours, 18. The shoulder's starting. I'm after taking pain meds, and it's not working this time now, so I have to walk around or something. I have to do something because I've been in the same position for the last 3
hours. To eat.
So, well, do us a favor before you all leave. If you just want to shout out our social medias, and if you have a YouTube channel, please give that a mention as well. So if you guys on the panel want to go ahead there and shout out our stuff, that would be fantastic.
Go for it.
Well, I'll start. I'm on Twitter at mattpot74, and I'm also going to be featured on the Spacebook tonight, hopefully, at about 4 p.m. UK time. It'll be like 3 a.m. in the morning here, so
that'll be tomorrow. That's tomorrow then. Oh yeah, today, because it's like just
it's
past
Saturday.
Saturday,
Saturday 4 p.m. So check out the Spacebook channel, and yeah.
It's fantastic.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. It's been a pleasure. Lee?
You can find me at Being Problem on the twats, and I've got my other channel with my graphic work on there. So if you want to check it out, if you want to show me some support, that's good. And that's at Audred, AUDRED, audiovisual.
Fantastic. Anything else now? Everything? Yeah, that's everything now. Yeah.
That's it.
Right. Mr. Singh.
Hello. Yeah. First, I'd like to say thanks for having me on. It's been great. I know I haven't been talking for the last half an hour. I've just been listening to you guys with the more knowledge and experience, just taking it all in. But if you'd like to follow me, I'm Ash Singh here on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. I
God, you can tell he's a millennial, can't you?
Sorry?
You can tell he's a millennial. He's got all the things. He's got all the social media.
Well, actually, I've just fall outside of them like by a year.
Let you live.
So yeah, so I'm not a millennial, thank God.
You're a zillennial, whatever they call it.
To be honest, I don't even know. But yeah, I stream every Wednesday and Saturday night at 8 p.m. UK on Twitch, playing Days Gone on Wednesdays and Ghost of Tsushima on Saturdays. And I'll be on Jed's stream 6 p.m. UK on Saturday, where we'll mostly be talking about One Division, current events and things like that as well. And I just float around everyone's channels around the fandom. So yeah, it's been great.
Fantastic. Listen, thanks for coming on. And you too, Matt. It's been a real pleasure having you.
Nice to meet you finally.
We got a super chat from Alpha, so I'll read that out. Get some pain meds for the future. I think I need more than pain meds. I think I might be going to the hospital to get an old x-ray because I might have done something seriously bad with my shoulder. I might have done some ligament damage a few months back, and it's only creeping up on me now. I did something anyway. I might have cracked the bone, but it's definitely getting worse. It's not getting any better. I did have a few weeks of a break from it. Everything was grand, and now it's back again with a vengeance. Could be the cold not helping it either, but I'm going to get it checked out because there's obviously an issue there. But yeah, Jesus, I need more than pain meds. I hope they give
morphine. Give him morphine.
Yeah. Bit of morphine will do. Yeah, please. Yeah, just want to see her with a big smile. Yeah.
If only that was available over the counter.
Yeah, I know.
Can you imagine?
I think we definitely have problems in the world. If everybody got their hands on,
get everyone to drop an E at the same time. That would be amazing.
No, it wouldn't.
Everyone would be just like, you know what? I love you. I love you too.
We could have little dens again. You know.
I will, Daniel. Don't worry. I will. It's annoying Cheryl now because I'm walking around like an old man. She wants me to finally get it sorted, so I'm gonna go. I should have probably went a few months back, but there you go. I'm a stubborn old Phil. Well, I'll get it checked. Even though I'm gonna wear about 15 masks when I go to the hospital, man, because I hate it already. Any family member goes in there, they never come back out alive. So you can understand me hesitation a little bit. So yeah, it's
PD Rich is slightly allergic. Oh, that's a shame. God, how did you survive? I don't know how that happens. Oh dear.
And that was the $10 super chat. Sorry, Alf, I forgot to mention it was a $10 super chat as well. I really appreciate that. But that's it for tonight. Obviously, slightly different. It's supposed to be a Tardis Zone Talks, but you know, we're only back, so I understand that everybody's just getting back into the swing of things, and you know, that couple of weeks break, everybody was getting confident. Maybe they're just a bit, you know, it'll take people a while to come back, which is fine. But we're back. We'll be back again with this format on Wednesday. So if you just want to come back, I'm pretty sure by Wednesday there's going to be something else that we can talk about.
No doubt.
You know, I'm pretty sure there is. You know, I mean.
Norton Jack Main says, "Hope you're okay." No, that's very.
I will be. I'm just in a lot of pain now, and I just, you know, I just don't handle pain well.
And Alpha Omega says, "Hey man, love you all." That's so sweet.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't love yours, but thanks.
Cancelled.
I love you all. I'm not trying to get cancelled or anything, but if you are, go ahead. I mean,
bad jokes and now this.
I mean, the other side have tried for 3.5 years and failed. If you think you could do better, go for it.
Well, we are like, you know, your audience and shit. Like, you lose us, you got nothing.
I know, I'm joking. Yeah, of course you can come on, Jack. As I said, it's on every Wednesday and Friday. And if you feel like coming on both nights, you can. And if anybody in the chat that hasn't been on yet that would like to come on, please do. Yeah, well, it's Matt's first time tonight. I think it was, wasn't it, Matt?
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask for any revenue.
So his first night, and we couldn't shut him up. So that's a good.
If Daniel's saying it, you're fucked.
That's always a good time when we get a guest on that can, you know, hit the ground running. So well done, Matt. And again, I'll say the same to you. You're more than welcome. We do this every Wednesday and Friday. You're more than welcome to come on anytime and give your opinion about whatever is happening out there. As I said, I'm sure there'll be something for us to have a chin wag about because, you know, fandom, it's great, isn't it? Fandom society. It's a shit.
It's a joy, Knowles.
But I tell you one thing, there might be a shit show, but, you know, we've got each other. And
that's what we've got.
Yeah, and I think that's the main thing. We've got each other. And we keep each other entertained, which we will. Right, now you can all feck off now. Okay? Leave me alone to die in pain. Right, and if I'm not back tomorrow,
don't make them happy, Noel. Don't make Twitter happy.
Oh yeah, could you imagine if I really? By the way, if they do celebrate. If that never happened and they do celebrate, you have me permission to destroy them all. Yeah, and I mean, we go full out. Cancelization, go for it, destroy them, and I'll be watching down. I'll be looking down at you.
I think they'll think you'll be looking up, but yeah.
I've been thinking about starting a YouTube channel. I'll have it Noel's Memorial. Noel's Memorial.
Actually, in all fairness, all joking aside, you should actually, you know, get yourself on YouTube.
Yeah, you know, all this drama and everything, I don't know if I could quite cope with that.
I think you're more than bloody capable. You're an odds, for fuck's sake.
Here's the thing I'd say to you.
Oh, yeah, no, never crosses, I'll tell you.
Focus on the negative, though. You could choose not to focus on negative stuff, and you could choose to focus on positive stuff on your channel. You know, unfortunately,
it doesn't get the views.
I've gotten... I started this ages back, so I'm kind of stuck in the trenches now at this stage. That's why I set up the Irish Geek. I'm trying to separate the boat and I get a bit of a clean slate with that one. But I would say, listen, man, if you're going to do one, I'd encourage you to do one. But you don't have to focus. And you're right. No, look, I'm kind of sick of it all the time talking about the negativity. That's why I'm doing the movie streams and all of that other stuff. Yeah. Because I don't want to be just focusing on the negative because it can get very tiring. So, yeah, listen, you know, there's plenty of things. Look at nostalgia. I can tell you now, people love nostalgia. Yeah. You base your channel around that, you'll be okay.
Well, look at Daniel. Daniel's doing it. He's saying, if I can do it, you can too.
I love Daniel's channel. I'm a real good subscriber, and yeah, I always watch his stuff. So
yeah, he's brilliant. He's brilliant, and to the match, he was gonna pack it in at one stage. I would have been.
Wouldn't let him do
it. no, he shouldn't.
It would have been a travesty, but we convinced him otherwise.
Yeah.
So he's back now.
Well, that's the thing. Friends stick together, you know.
And Charlotte's got him in place, so like, you know, she'll kick his ass.
Right, so tomorrow's
Even
Doctor
talks
Who
on it.
episode is what is it?
Seeds of Doom.
Seeds of Doom. The Seeds
Yes,
of Doom.
quality episode story. Nice.
Right, so that's what it is. It's the Seeds of Doom. So that's what we're doing. And then on Sunday, then we finish our New Who. We finish the end of season 3. Don't we? Yeah, it's built.
Yeah.
It's the next one. Yeah. So we finish season 3, and then obviously next week, then we'll be into season 4, and that's when all this good stuff starts happening. Yes, can't wait. Season
my favorite New Who companion. So
yeah,
excellent.
can't wait for that, for when that happens. Oh, it's the Seeds of Death. Sorry, the Seeds of Death. Why do we keep saying the Seeds of Doom?
Oh God, yeah. Look, I haven't slept.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Super John is right. Super John, you're right, because you said it was on Twitter today. It is. He's right. Don't be
I always
lazy.
get those two confused.
That's Lee's fault, because
Shut
my
up.
fault is Lee's. Right, so I'm throwing him under the bus. See, that's
Hold
how
on a minute.
we've no problem. And by the way, I say to
No,
his
it's
face,
Seeds of Doom. It's Seeds of Doom. I was right. Don't do this to me. I'm tired.
is a Seeds of feck off.
No, it's
Is
Seeds
it
of
the
Doom. I
Troughton
was
one? Troughton one's the Seeds
No,
of Death.
it's the Tom Baker story.
We're on Tom
Oh.
Baker. Yeah.
Seeds of Doom. I was right. Stop
Yeah,
doing
but
that to me.
you know what? I
people.
don't care what it is. I'm in too much pain to care right now. But we will be back for that watch along, and it should be fun if I'm not a grumpy old bastard with this pen. But it will be. So come and join us. We'll have a panel. Actually, there's a lot of shit going on tomorrow. Rabbi has his Indiegogo, and then as Matt pointed out there, I think Jed is doing a stream as well at the same time. And we're going to be streaming, so it's going to be a crazy Saturday. You're going to have plenty of stuff.
Well, don't forget, there are rewatches available.
That's
So
it.
there you are.
So, yeah, if I don't see you here live tomorrow, you happen to be on the other two guys supporting their channels, that's fine. We'll be
But
here.
we will remember, and we will find you, and we will kill you.
Well, no, I mean, we're not Liam
Okay, we
Neeson.
won't kill you, but we'll tweak your
We're
ears.
not Liam Neeson. Don't mind him. We're not Liam Neeson. We do not have a set of skills and all.
But you're Irish, you can get away with that. Go on, say it. I will find you.
I will find you. I will kill you. And now it's time to go. No, see, I can't do it because I don't have the proper Irish accent. I might be Irish, but I don't have the typical Irish accent. Because the typical Irish accent
Sounds
is like,
pretty bloody typical to me.
yeah, I can even yeah, man. I tell you, we're weird people. We're weird people. And with that, I'm going to leave it at that. Right, listen, thanks to all my guests, my moderators in the chat for keeping the chat sane. You don't really need to because the community here is great. But well done. Thanks to everybody that contributed with a super chat. And you guys are also in the chat that threw up these comments as well. I really appreciate that. As I said, to all my guests, absolutely fantastic. Charlotte earlier as well. Jack. We had Jack on earlier as well. Absolutely fantastic. So, want to see, so we'll see you all tomorrow. Well, listen, actually, I haven't done this in a long time. So, this is what's up tomorrow. Here we go.
Hello?
He's on mute. Has anyone told him?
I don't know.
Well, thanks for
obviously
tuning
isn't
in
used
to
to
the
it.
Lee Zone, everybody. Thanks so much for your wonderful company. I'd like to thank my guest, Matt Pott, 74, and Esh Singh. This is where you thank me. And
thank you for having me. Thank you, Lee, for having me.
The video actually froze, so it stayed on mute because it wouldn't unfreeze itself. Because even though I pay for this piece of shit, StreamYard, when I play a video clip, it seems to pause, but the next one won't. That's the weird thing. So this is what we have on Sunday, by the way, folks.
Oh, it has happened again, hasn't it?
There we go.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah, it's happened again.
That was better, though. It wasn't as long.
I what's wrong? I cleared all the memory and all of this. It's acting it's doing me head in. But that's Saturday and Sunday anyway, yeah. So I couldn't see that. See, I haven't seen them in weeks now, and I couldn't even watch them. That's pissing me off now. So, but we'll leave it at that. That's what we have Saturday and Sunday. And by the way, that's Lee's work. So go and check out his YouTube channel. And if you're looking for any work to be done for your YouTube channel, rebrand or little trailers like that, Lee is available at reasonable prices. His YouTube channel is in the live chat there. Well, it should be put in there now.
Dread Audio Visual.
There you go. And you know, check him out. Check him out. Well worth checking out.
Cool.
And he won't do it for free like he did it for
Yeah,
me.
get fucked. If you want a freebie, too bad.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mates rates though, you know, discuss it with me. We can haggle. We can haggle.
That's it. But don't take it for a fill because he does good work.
No, because I'll sniff that shit out right away.
Yeah. Right, we're gonna go. But listen, I want to thank you all, and thanks for coming back to the Tardis zone in the numbers that you have. I have missed streaming on this channel, but we will be back on the Irish Geek as well. What day is it tomorrow? Saturday. So we have the class. Look, we'll be on Sunday on the Irish Geek before we do the New Who watch along. Myself and Cheryl, Gifted the Gab. We'll be doing we're talking WandaVision. So come and join us for that. And then I'm gonna sit down Monday with Cheryl, and then we're gonna come up with a timetable for each channel. So I could stick it up somewhere. So we're not in this situation where I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So we can have some, you know yourself, she's the organizer, so she'll organize me. You know. Shh, give her credit because if I give her too much credit, she gets a big head.
I won't say anything.
Good man. Right. I trust you anyway. Right, we're off. See you later. Let's hope I can see this bloody trailer. It's the channel trailer. Good night, folks. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. And I'll see you over the weekend. Okay? Good luck. Again. This is right. Let's try that again. We are absolutely leaving right now. I tell you, this is scary. Listen, I'm just until I figure this crap out tonight, right? I'm just gonna hit the end broadcast button. But I think we had a little cameo from Godzilla there. I hope he's enjoyed that.
Can I officially call you a boomer?
Yeah.
Fair play.
I'm Generation X.
Yeah, X baby.
I am a Gen Xer. That's the thing. You can go out with this shit.
And do you know what the irony is, right? All of them call us boomers, right? And again, You know what I can say Generation X used to be called? The
What?
forgotten generation. And it's happening all over again. They always forget that we exist.
This is actually 1989 Godzilla, just to let you know.
Okay. Well, we had an appearance from Godzilla 1989 there, folks. Not the 1995 travesty, but like, you know,
I like that one.
I'm only messing. I do like it. I have a soft spot for that movie as well.
All I can remember of it is the Jamiroquai song. That was
Jamiroquai soundtrack, Deeper Underground. Yeah. Right, I'm
That's
off.
got the Simpsons cameo in it.
There's a Simpsons cameo in it. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
all the Simpsons all the Simpsons voices are in it actually as actors, and the guy that actually plays the cameraman is Chief Quimby and Apu. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We'll better check that out. And we will do one of the movie streams one time. We will do. I was looking at that. I actually did see that up on Netflix, and I was going to pick it, but then I was thinking, do they really like Godzilla, or am I the only one?
I really like it.
But now
I used to watch the cartoon with Godzuki.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Cancel culture forever. Well, I'm sure they'll cancel me tonight after me jokes. But there you go.
Well, I'm considering it. So.
Who gives a crap anyway? If I get cancelled, I get cancelled. Well, no, actually, Gina did say one thing that was true. You're only cancelled if you believe you're cancelled. These people actually have no power whatsoever. Yes, she lost her job, but she picked her. I will give her one thing. She picked herself up. She dusted herself down, and she's coming out swinging. Whether that's the best thing to do or not, I don't know.
She seems pragmatic.
She is a fan. I am a fan, but she has pissed me off. But I will say this: I do wish her the best of luck in her. Maybe sanity will prevail. You never know. Disney could. I doubt it very much, though. But you never know. If they give a guy like James Gunn back his job, you never know. There is some chance there, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, Jon Favreau could kind of say, "Well,
fuck Disney.
I've got the script
done. Fuck him up the arse."
Look, if she really wants to fuck Disney up the arse, she should get into porn. She would make a killing.
So
she would make a killing. She would make a killing, though.
I'd love her to go back into MMA. That's what I'd love her to do. I'd love her to give up the acting and go back to MMA because I support MMA. So I'd support it.
Is that like wrestling and acting?
All wrestling is acting, really.
I know. That's why I thought.
I mean, the WWE is the one where they pretend to be wrestling, but they're not really. They're just doing flipping.
Like wrestling for me is Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks.
Yes. Yeah. Or Earthquake. Do you remember Earthquake?
No, Big Daddy.
Andre the Giant.
Tornado. They were two brothers. No.
No, I'm talking like late 70s, early 80s wrestling.
Yeah, I'm talking about early 80s.
Those are the only two I remember.
Right. Okay.
I was 4 and 5.
Okay, well then, okay, right, fair enough. Yeah, I have a better memory. I suppose.
That was on just before or after Metal Mickey.
Yeah, that's it. And we will cancel.
I love that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep using that hashtag. Not that it's making a difference, though. But as I said, I think people do need to concentrate on Chris Chibnall. And focus on him. It seems to be falling on deaf ears with other people out there, but a lot of you that follow me, I do see is highlighting it. So I just want to say to you guys in the chat, because you do, Matt as well, a couple of you on the panel, you all do actually. Thank you for highlighting it, but we need to keep it going. I just wish that other bigger YouTubers would get involved and actually expose his writing, do videos on that sort of thing. Because he needs to go. Jodie Whittaker leaving is not good enough,
Kick him whilst they're down. Do it.
That's it. So that's it. They say you never kick someone when they're down, but I say in some cases,
go for the balls and then
in some cases, it's justified.
Yeah,
I'm definitely getting cancelled tomorrow.
Well, look, they fucked us over.
We all are.
Good night. God bless. No. Why am I saying God bless? I don't believe in religion. Good night.
I'm Catholic.
Dog bless.
No, I am Catholic myself. Don't get me wrong.
Bless.
I used to be an altar boy and do the choir thing and all that.
Me too.
But yeah, I kind of lost me faith over the years, so I don't
blame you.
You know, but there you go. But I will say God bless to all yous that are. So God bless. Take care. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you back here tomorrow with Lee and a couple of the other guys that are going to be joining me, and ladies, by the way, actually Charlotte as well, for
I'll stop by in the chat.
The classic. And yeah, come by. Yeah, and listen, if you want to join us for New Who on Sunday, I mean, I do have a space open on the panel for Sunday. Not many. There's only a few people that'll come on. Because Daniel's taking a break for a while. He said he will eventually come back, but he's taking a break to concentrate on his channel, and that's fair enough. So there is a spot. Daniel's spot is there if you want it. It seems
well, actually, it's funny because of these whole time zone things. I'm actually starting work when you're just about to start your stream, so that's the reason why I watch a lot of your stuff, like later on in the day when I get up. But I really enjoy your content, though. Just letting you know, just really enjoy your content.
In the chat.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah,
day. There's a panel opening for New Who Sunday, 7 p.m. UK time is when we start. If you're interested, let me know by message, either on Messenger or Twitter. Let me know if you want to join me. Obviously, when Daniel does decide to come back, then it's only fair because obviously he's been
a temporary position is opened up.
He's been here from day one. And
come back, Daniel. Come back.
I've always said to him, he'll always have a spot on this channel, and I meant this. So when he does decide to come back and do them, he's just not feeling classic. He's not feeling Doctor Who at the moment. Yeah, he's doing the fan audios because it's nothing to do with the main show. He's just not feeling it at the moment, and with him not being able to go to Celtic Park as well is kind of doing his head in. And I don't blame him. I think this lockdown's doing all their fucking heads in. But listen, I'm going to go now because I've been saying I'm going the last 20 minutes. And I think the drugs are kicking in now. So I think I really do need to go. So good night.
Work.
Here you go. Here's the